Okay, so remember the Mumford and Sons song, After the Storm? There will come a time with no more tears. Get over your hill and see what you find there. You'll find the Nantucket Shorts Festival. Okay? 7 years the Nantucket Shorts Festival has been filling this theater. We're so happy that you're here. I have light now so I can read my notes. Let's not forget that today is homecoming weekend, so we want to say go Whalers, right? Woo! Did you see the parade? I mean, oh my God, the floats they made, everything but a root beer float. The people who have been stuck in Hyannis, how many just made it here? I know the lot to be, okay, welcome to Nantucket. All the weddings got canceled, but the divorces went on according to schedule, okay? It's been one of those wild rock and roll weekends on Nantucket. We have to thank some people, and I mean really thank them, okay? Because first of all, we want to thank the filmmakers. You know what the story is here, right? So these are films made by Nantucketers on Nantucket, okay? That's the rule, and it's got to be under 10 minutes long. So this year, there were so many films that were made and submitted that we had a jury selection, and that jury whittled it down to 12 films that you're going to see in a few minutes. So the other people who didn't get selected, you know, send it in next year. I don't know, or keep making films. Just have another film festival, come to your house and watch them. Out of the 12 filmmakers whose films you're going to see here this afternoon, 7 of them are first-time filmmakers. And that is awesome. That is amazing, okay? That is amazing because that's what we hoped 7 years ago when it all got going, that people would just say, hey, I got a story. You know, where do I go to get a camera? I don't have the right equipment. I don't know how to edit. But I got a story. You know, you go to NCTV and you go talk to Lisa Fry, talk to Dan Driscoll, talk to Andrew Cromartie, talk to Dee White. I mean, they're just completely awesome. And if you want to make a film, that's where you go. If you're a bee, you go to Flowers. If you're a filmmaker, you go next to, where's Sophie Tees, right? Okay. So we want to thank them particularly. And this year, we're really happy to announce that the Nantucket Shorts Festival is creating a scholarship for a high school kid who graduates from Nantucket High School who's going to study media arts, filmmaking in college next year, okay? So that's a great thing. That's a great thing. Let me just say how it works. So the box office that, you know, you bought tickets, that goes to support this film festival and, you know, whatever the infrastructure is to do this, present this. And, you know, the Dreamland, we want to thank the Dreamland always for hosting this with us. But the money that the sponsors have given us doesn't go to the infrastructure support of the film festival, it goes to this scholarship. So if you want to be a sponsor, know that your money is going to support a Nantucket High School graduate who's going to be studying film. So just think about that. Maybe you'll consider a sponsorship next year. The sponsors this year, you can see them, Samuel Owen Gallery. We want to thank Lee and Cindy Malazzo. We love them. You know where that is? Okay, it's on Federal Street across in the old red Seven Seas building across from the Jared Coffin House. They have awesome art there, including the art of my wife, Melissa. I'm just saying. Okay, just saying. We want to thank the BPC Architecture Group. Okay, they're around the corner on Oak Street. They are a Nantucket Architecture Group, and they're supporting us. We want to thank that team. Thank you so much. I'd like to know what BPC stands for. Maybe someone will tell us later. Dune Restaurant. Okay, the Dune, I mean, come on, in Nantucket, you gotta have a Dune, right? Open all year round. 97.7 AC FM, Real Island Radio. Thank you so much. Everybody who makes that happen, thank you so much. Man About Town, Gene Mann is here. I mean, the man who has had his finger on the pulse of Nantucket since the 70s when he was born, And I'm proud to say that Gene's ponytail has been donated to the Smithsonian Institute. Okay, so thank you, Gene, for that. The committee that selects these films, who actually makes the wheels turn, standing over there in the dark, but the man behind the scene, that's Dan Driscoll. That is September Productions. Kit Noble, I don't know, I haven't seen Kit. Maybe he's hiding up in the back because people bother him, you know, because his company, Nantucket Films, is in demand. Okay, thank you, Kit. Lance Kelly from Moore Studios, M-O-O-R Studios. Amazing. Lisa Getter, oh my God. Okay. And Maria Wachowski, her able-bodied, I don't know what, there's Batman and Robin who helped run that office. Lisa Fry Getter, what can we say? If you're a filmmaker, you love Lisa. And we'll meet her later because she's going to help give out the award at the end. You know how the award works? This is your first time. You've been given a program. That program lists 12 films. You have pens or pencils. If you don't, your neighbor does. At the end, this is an audience favorite award. So you're just going to mark the film that is your favorite. And then they're going to be collected at the end of the 12 films. They're going to go back, they're going to add them all up, and then while they're adding up to see who the winner is, I'm going to invite all the filmmakers to come down and join me here at the foot of the stage. We're going to talk about those films and how they get made, okay? So we want to thank all the volunteers that made this happen. Bridget McGinnis, who's been firing away with her camera. Thank you, Bridget. Look at you. So are you ready for some films? Yeah, let's go.
I am standing here with Bally Bach, who created a wonderful film called Secret Gardens. And I got to tell you, I live here and I've been here for a really long time, and I didn't know about these secret gardens. So it's kind of fun to learn through your film. So tell me about the film, how it came about, and the process of making it, if you would.
Well, I've known about this farm for a year or two. I'm friends with quite a few of the members of the Cisco Brewers family, and I actually go out there to talk to the farmers a lot. I'm really interested personally in farming,
yes,
especially small local farms. Okay. And after a while, I realized that this was just a great subject to highlight, just to give people some information and some reference to the amount of local farms that we have on the island. I mean, there's some really established farms like Pumpkin Pond and Bartlett's, but there's also some other smaller farms that just are starting to get way, like Boatyard Farm and Faraway Farm. So I just felt like this was a good opportunity to highlight a farm that's not well known about.
Yeah.
And give them some exposure, but also just get people thinking about where their food comes from.
Yes, it's time to get back to that, isn't it? And also to get our hands dirty, to get back to the earth. I think that one of the things that really kind of came to mind when I was watching your film earlier today, I had the honor of watching it ahead of time, and it really made me think about all the anxiety that we have in this world and the beauty of being able to perhaps shed some of that anxiety by getting our hands dirty, by digging into the earth, and by doing something that we love that then we can share with others.
Right. And I think that's one of my main interests. I think that it's really important for people to understand not just the locality of the food that they're eating,
yes,
but the way in which the farmers are producing that food. And I think that Cisco does an amazing job. I believe they're in the process of getting certified organic. One of their gardens is certified organic, and they're going to get the other one. And they take their time. They don't rush. They do a really good job of just being hands-on with the things that they grow. And I think they're starting to establish a really good practice of being one of the good local farms that just produces quality food that's available almost year-round. They're starting to transition now to their winter crop, which is great, and I think that in the future they'll be able to, hopefully open up to the public. I'm not sure what the intentions. I didn't really get that far into it with them, so I don't want to put that out there necessarily, but
right.
It's still a great point of interest for the local community, and it's something for people to see when they go down to Cisco, that there's not just a brewery there, that they're actually on agricultural land and they're using it well and producing stuff that's really great for the local community, which if people have eaten at places like the Gaslight and at Club Car, they've actually eaten some of their produce and may not have known it because They don't advertise it that well. So I just felt like it was a great opportunity to highlight people who are doing good things, who don't necessarily do it for the attention, but deserve some attention for sure.
Yeah. I have a good friend who recently introduced me to different things in my diet, and I can honestly say what a great thing it has done for me. And so I can say that, people say that, diet, well, there's a terrible word and all of that, but but it's true. And, my mind is clearer and everything. So I think it's wonderful. I'm so pleased that on this very expensive island, where every square inch of this island costs, $7 million, that it's really wonderful that people are able to do this, and we need to take advantage of it and support it. So thank you for bringing that to light. And it was a beautiful film, and I really look forward to seeing it on the big screen. I also want to say that your commentator did a lovely job.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. She's a part of the Cisco Brewers family as well. And I think it's just good opportunity for people to understand, again, that relationship between what you eat and where it comes from.
Absolutely.
And like you said, we do live on a very expensive island, not just housing costs, but food costs as well. And just the cost to bring stuff here, because a lot of stuff travels hundreds, sometimes thousands of miles to get here. If we can just at least start a conversation about what we're eating and where it comes from, I think that's the beginning to the change.
And part of that is the gas that it gets to, that we have to use to get it here, and then the lights that we have to light to keep it on the shelves.
And then how fresh is that product?
Oh, yeah. Exactly. So it's a tremendous thing. So let's keep encouraging local farming by eating their local products and by bringing it to light, as you have. And I want to just say that Catherine Turnage was your your commentator, and she did a great job.
Well, thank you. I'm sure she'll appreciate that.
Very good.
I hope the audience likes it as much as you did.
I'm sure they will. It's a lovely film. Thank you so much. We'll see you in there.
Oh, perfect. Thank you.
Up on the big screen. Yeah.
Here goes nothing.
Okay, great. Thank you so much.
Nantucket, Massachusetts. A world-renowned destination that is known for its pristine waters, idyllic beaches, and historic New England charm. It is also home to a local watering hole called Cisco Brewers, which serves up award-winning spirits, year-round live music, and a buzzing social scene. More recently, Cisco is establishing what some have called the Secret Gardens.
Farm to me is something that is both beautiful and practical. It serves the beauty of nature and the practical issue of feeding people.
I grew up on a small farm, so I have that personal connection myself, but I wanted my son to also have that experience. So for me, starting a farm is about sharing that connection with what has been done in the past, with the future.
It gives people a focal point of interest, and I think that that's really what it is that it helps them identify with their locality, what they're doing.
I think it's important for the environment. It's just one of those key things about growing and sequestering carbon and the animals. I think it's so important because farms keep us connected to our food systems. Again, connecting how people used to raise animals to new agricultural practices.
It's exactly what I like to do. Be outside, do things that don't require my intervention.
I love being able to source our produce to our customers, to the restaurants around the island, just as much as I love being able to take a tray of tomatoes or beans or cucumbers up to our staff. I think that's wonderful. I love hearing their stories of what they cook with their family and what they like. Yeah, I love the people that I work with. Like, they're all super fun. It's just, it's all such a great scene out here.
You know, it fulfills the mission of helping people and making them happy. It's just suited my personality. External attention to detail is not necessarily a factor. It's how you view things that are hidden from you.
I'm standing here with two wonderful filmmakers, Paula McLeod and Jamie Peff, who have made a wonderful film called A Nantucket Wedding. And my daughter got married this summer here on Nantucket, so I could relate. Yes, I probably should have helped you with the script.
You know how challenging it can be.
This is not an easy place to host a wedding.
That is true.
But, so this is a great film. You've got some great actors, friends of mine, wonderful, talented actors, and I was so pleased to see them in the film.
Yeah.
So that was very exciting. Tell me how you came up with this idea.
Right, so about 5 years ago, we always come to the shorts. We love the program, we love watching it, and
Yeah.
we've watched it for years. And some years ago, Paula said, we really should do a movie. And somehow we came up with this idea, probably while sitting on the beach. And 5 years went by and we really didn't do anything about it.
Yeah.
It's true, until finally this summer I said, okay, we're doing it. And he said, oh, I don't know, but we got it done.
You sure did, and it's very well done. It has, like I said, some great actors who also have some comedic abilities, which is fun because it's true, and yet at the same time it also has a great deal of true in how difficult it is. I mean, but it's also wonderful in that it is so, there's definitely some underlying comedy in there that I just absolutely endured. The bumper sticker, which I won't tell you about until you see the film. Really funny stuff.
Thank you. And we got very lucky on the cast. We had a connection who actually has had 3 daughters who've been married on Nantucket. So she was both our wedding consultant, but she also happened to be the producer of the show, The Musical. So she was able to give us a line on some of the cast members who agreed to be in our film, which was terrific. Susan and Alex.
Yeah, and by casting Susan, Alex, and Torian, we were able to have 3 people who worked together. And so it was seamless from the beginning. They were totally professional.
Yeah.
I don't think we have one flub on film. And they made the shoot really easy. We shot in 3 days.
Oh, wow.
3 short days.
That's fantastic. How about the editing process?
Yeah, so that was me, and I've edited film before, and it's always very tedious, and your eyeballs start to fall out. But it was very helpful, and Andrew Cromartie at Nantucket Community Television was extremely helpful with a couple of special effects that fixed a couple of boo-boos that I made.
Sure.
But with comedy, it's all timing. So, and literally 1 frame, 2 frames, 3 frames can affect the way the scene plays. So I was doing a lot of experimenting and trying to get it just so, the lines come precisely when they should.
And then down to 10 minutes for this festival, which is a whole other thing.
6.5 minutes.
6.5? I'm so impressed. That's fantastic because your tendency is to want to just say, well, this is great. I want it all.
Well, we added a couple of scenes, and then Paula wanted to add a scene where we were shooting on a boat with dialogue, and I sort of suggested that might be a little too ambitious because shooting on a moving vessel when you're trying to speak is a little
That'll
tough.
be your next film.
That was the endeavor with Captain Jim.
Oh, I see.
Because one of the things we wanted to do was feature as many Nantucketers and Nantucket places as we could.
Sure.
But we did have to limit ourselves.
Yeah.
And also we found out that a lot of people are just too busy.
Yes, true. And yeah, summertime is a really tricky time to say. They say, I'd love to do it. What are you doing in February, eh?
Yes, some of the people that we wanted to get who are connected to weddings, of
Yeah.
course, said, well, no, we're too busy because we've got weddings we
Yeah.
need to work on.
Yeah.
So Rebecca Love was great. She's a photographer, a very nice wedding photographer who
Yes.
agreed to be in the film
Yeah.
and did a great job. So, and then the following weekend, we were at a wedding and she was shooting it.
Oh,
so that
nice.
was kind of
That's terrific.
kind of interesting and fun.
Yeah.
So.
Now, how much was it? Was actually according to script, or was there? It,
I would say it was mostly according to the script. I'm kind of amazed. I felt like we would probably end up rearranging some scenes or eliminating some scenes, but we
Sure.
shot 15 scenes and we used all 15.
Fantastic.
And it flowed exactly the way we first conceived it. So I'm kind of surprised by that. But now the actors suggested edits and improvisations.
that was my question.
That
yes.
was really your question.
That's fine,
And
yeah.
they're good because as an
Yeah.
ensemble, Susan and Alex and Torian have worked together quite a bit. So
Yes.
Susan would say, why don't I give Alex that line and then I'll take this line because
Sure.
we're more comfortable that way. And
Yes.
I, of course, said yes. And,
Yeah.
and we tried everything they suggested. And
Sure.
most of it worked.
Yeah, I mean, that's the great thing about working with seasoned actors, but even more so people who've worked together that have trust and faith in each other, and so that they can relax knowing that it's all gonna, play out. Yeah, and that's wonderful. I'm so pleased that you guys were able to put this together. I really look forward to seeing it on the big screen, and I just think it's just a really funny thing having just gone through this. I can't wait to share it with my daughter.
We think a lot of people can relate.
Absolutely, yeah.
Especially this weekend when, unfortunately, a few weddings had to postpone due to
right
the
on.
circumstances. So,
Sure, of course.
We empathize with everyone who tries to plan a wedding on Nantucket.
Yeah, it is amazing. I worked for 10 years at the Historical Association hosting weddings, and it was always interesting to get that last minute call. It's raining outside. Can we jump to the Whaling Museum? Anyway, long story short, no. Very good. Well, I am so pleased that you guys were able to put this together. I'm really proud of you guys. I look forward to your next film. I hope that you guys will continue. I think you did a great job, and I think you need to be encouraged. So please do more.
Thank you.
And we'll see you in there on the big screen.
Okay,
Thank you.
Yeah, very good.
So, how big a wedding are we thinking?
Oh, not big, just cozy.
Cozy?
Well, intimate.
Intimate?
Just our besties and our family, maybe 40 to 50?
Sweetheart, this is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. For your father and me.
So, like 200.
250.
Noted.
I was thinking a place like this, a few friends.
It's a maybe. Can we close the entire beach? From here, you can see for miles. Think of the pictures. Can we book the whole hotel for a week?
I'll look into it.
Oh, it would be so romantic to arrive in a horse-drawn carriage.
But horses, they make such a mess.
Well, we do have some special vehicles.
Oh, this is perfect.
At Nantucket Tents, our motto is, we've got you covered.
That's the one. The 3-pole tent. We'll take it. Thank you.
Is this a wedding or a circus?
Oh, sweetie, it's a little of both.
You could have as big a tent as you'd like. We just have one rule. No elephants.
It's disappointing, but we'll manage.
Sweetheart, I was thinking a band like this.
Actually, I was thinking of something more like this.
Did you call that florist?
Yeah, I did, but they never called me back. Huh. Did you call the other one?
Yeah, but they never called me back.
So for the dress, I was thinking, your grandmother's antique lace one might be perfect. I mean, we should take it out and have a look, and see if it could need some alterations, but I think that would be a really nice way to honor her. And it could make you... Uh-oh. We're gonna need a bigger budget.
So, tell us about your approach to photography.
Of course. So our goal is for you to relax and enjoy the day as much as possible. We want you to take in every moment while we capture the magic.
It's beautiful stuff.
I have a question. Can we stream it live?
You mean so people can watch from their homes?
Yeah, so that people whose buses or planes or boats get canceled.
They can watch from Hyannis.
Hey, Mom, did you call the other florist?
I did, but they never called me back.
You know, this is what we need. Food trucks right outside the church.
I was thinking we'd get a sushi chef.
Oh, he could fly in on the helicopter.
Yes.
Okay, so we've got the date, the venue, the tent, the dress, the band, flowers, pre and post. Yeah. Did you want to run any of these decisions past the groom?
The groom?
Oh, there is no groom.
Yet.
That's the least of our worries. Someone will turn up.
Groom TBD.
Because of you, I'm never gonna be the same. All the lost and lonely lovers before, they don't live here anymore. I've been waiting for you. Do you believe?
I just have to admit that it's all coming back to me. If I touch you like this, and you hold me like that, it was lost long ago, but it's all coming back to me.
I'm standing here with Bonnie Roseman. We're just about to go into the theater to see another one of her wonderful films. Days of My Life is the name of this film. I enjoyed your film from last year, by the way.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you.
absolutely.
2 years in a row. This is going to be, I think, an annual tradition for me.
Yeah. I think you should. I mean, I think it's great. Now, you had a lot of really tremendous footage in there. I know some of it was stock, and I assume, and a lot of it was from your life?
Yeah, no, mostly everything in this film is my life, and it starts with the birth and goes to present day. And I had some very, very good footage on the old-fashioned VHS tapes that I was able to get digitized, and we were able to edit from some of those tapes. So it's very exciting to utilize a lot of things that happened to me in the last, I don't want to say, over half a century.
We won't say, but she has had an incredible life, and I think it's really wonderful that you had all that footage. That's really remarkable because, you know, I think most of us would be lucky to have that kind of footage of our life and to put it together in such a beautiful way. So
Thank you. I feel that my purpose in life is not only to bring beautiful things to people and help them look their very best, but also to inspire people to really go after their dreams and to know that they can make it happen. If I made it happen, they can make it happen, that they have to follow their dreams, and I support everyone in making that happen. So
that's wonderful, and I think you do also act as a mentor for people, you know, who are kind of perhaps looking to do certain things, and you are very encouraging. I also noticed that you're wearing one of your beautiful scarves, and
one of my magical scarves
yes.
that my film was about last year.
Exactly, and I am honored to own one of those as well.
Oh,
so,
it's so great.
Yeah,
and everything I am wearing is part of my collection, and I really enjoy doing what I do. I think that's the key to life, is to come from your passion.
Yeah, absolutely. And you've been lucky to do that in your life. And, you know, it's wonderful. And you are an inspiration, and you are a great mentor to so many people here on the island, and I'm sure beyond our shores.
Oh, thank you, Susan. I love this island. I feel that this is my home. My heart is here. I'm only able to spend part of the year here, but it's my 25th summer. And I'm just thrilled to be here and share my story and let everybody know who I really am.
Very good. Well, Bonnie, I so look forward to seeing it on the big screen.
Okay, thank you.
You're a tremendous person.
Thank you, NCTV, and a special thanks to Dee White for being the editor and friend that she has become. And I look forward to a lot of projects in the future with her.
Great. Thank you, Bonnie.
Thank
All right,
you.
we'll see you in the theater.
Okay.
Cheers.
Cheers. January 15th, 1953, at 7 a.m. in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, I was born to Edna and Reuben Tarnoff. Growing up, they had a drugstore where my father was a pharmacist, and I worked with him as a kid with my brothers and sisters. We had a lot of fun family moments. I used to have fashion shows where I would dress up my whole family. I always had a passion for fashion. As I got older, my itch to move away from my suburban life and do more exciting things grew stronger. I just didn't know exactly what that would look like. In July of 1973, I graduated Temple University and I got married. My husband, Alan Roseman, and I moved to Los Angeles, California, where I attended graduate school at California State University at Long Beach. At that time, my interest in fashion became more important. I started to experiment with all different clothing styles. And in addition to being into the glamour of Hollywood, I also was a bit of a California hippie, following the Grateful Dead and the Jefferson Airplane. In 1976, after graduating, I got a job selling Savin copy machines. That my success was not just selling the product, but bringing it out to the customer and making it convenient for them to shop. By 1980, I discovered what I really wanted to do. It was an artist studio on a little side street, And there was a woman sitting inside weaving these beautiful satin corded belts. They were the most beautiful pieces of wearable art I had ever seen. And after chatting for a while with much enthusiasm, she offered me the opportunity to sell her belts. I decided to work out of my apartment, representing fine artists as well as wearable artists. But what sold more easily were the items that women could wear. I still didn't know how to make the business grow, and also I didn't have the funds to open up a storefront. But I didn't want to give up on my dream. My husband came up with a suggestion. It was time to take a chance. So we decided to pack up my collection and travel across the United States using the many contacts I had gathered. I knew making it convenient for the shopper was the key. 4 months later, we had successfully sold to women in 35 cities and 29 states, and finally arrived in Palm Beach, Florida. In 1986, a local reporter from the Palm Beach Daily News, the Shiny Sheet, wrote an article about me. This is when my dream became a reality. I got a call from People magazine and the NBC Today Show, both wanting to do a story about me and the traveling boutique.
In search for entrepreneurial success this morning brings us a couple who do business out of their car. But it's a nice car, and business is very, very good.
This started the major launch of my career. After almost 10 years of hard work, things were starting to finally pay off.
This hour is our preview, the launch of our brand new BLT collection with Bonnie Roseman.
For those of you out there that really want great style, it's all about Bonnie Roseman.
We have a very special guest. Bonnie Roseman is joining us. She is a couture designer.
Bonnie Roseman is a self-made woman. For the past 25 years, she has been referred to as the architect of wardrobe building.
She does a very special private clientele.
Bonnie has been featured on Good Morning shows, Today, People magazine, and the way we found her was on the World Wide Web.
Immediately, we just felt so welcomed in and captivated by her energy.
I feel like we all learned so much from her and about her, and it was really fun.
525,000 moments so dear.
You never know what road life will take you down. You just have to be up for the challenge and follow the signs. One of my clients suggested that I go style her mother, which brought me down another road, or should I say a ferry. 30 miles out to sea, docking on the most beautiful island I'd ever seen, Nantucket. Not only did I love the physical beauty of this island, but I felt a strong connection with its spirit, the strong female influence that it had. From Maria Mitchell, the astronomer, to Lucretia Mott, one of the earliest advocates of women's rights, I knew I had to make my mark. Fast forward, now it's 2019, almost the start of a new decade. And I've been renting a cottage on the island for over 20 years now, and I own a condo in West Palm Beach. I still love styling people and sharing these wonderful treasures with my clients from all over the world. After all, the experience that I've had, the ups and downs and all arounds, nothing has ever stopped me from moving forward. I embrace each day and live life to the fullest and make an effort to stay present. I set goals and step by step, I complete these visions and turn my thoughts into reality. I especially love inspiring young people and encouraging them to follow their dreams, and to know that out of their thoughts in their mind, that with reflection, diligence, and perseverance, with a capital P, that they too can make it happen. If I continue to this day to do it, live it, and be it, so can you. Dance on.
Yes, all the way.
All the way.
Yes.
Holy shit!
with Doug Cody.
That's right.
And you might remember him from previous films. Very talented man in many areas, and film is included in that.
Thank
and
you.
with us is his co-producer, Chris Holmes.
Hi.
All right, Doug, give me
Who looks like he was in Jaws, but he wasn't.
All right, give me a quick overview. What do you think? How did this come down?
Well, this was an interesting go around this one because we started production making this documentary, and then we kind of realized halfway through making this that we maybe should just, certain things should just maintain a tradition on Nantucket, maybe just kind of leave it alone. So we kind of did like a what would you call it, a pivot or just?
Yeah, we pivoted about halfway through. There's a lot of interviews that aren't in the movie.
Okay.
But we just figured some things are better left unsaid.
Yeah.
Keep it more like a tradition for Nantucket.
All right.
And not go deep into it. Just
Not go
kind of
too
keep
deep.
it fun.
And keep it
Right?
perhaps somewhat of a mystery.
Exactly.
Thank you. All right. So I have lived here since 1983, and I can remember almost since the very first day. I think it probably was the very first day that I got here. Somebody said, "Who wants a Paul?" And I was sort of like, "Who's?" And I wanted to say, "Who's Paul?" But
Well, that was kind of the starting point for the film.
Sure.
Who's Paul?
Who's Paul?
Who? And
Yeah.
And who started it and where it came from.
Yeah. So, can I give them a little hint as to who or what Paul is?
let me ask you, what do you think Paul is?
I think Paul is something that I've worked with some caterers who sometimes need a little something just to kind of take the edge off right before they start an event.
I mean,
okay?
that is one option.
So you go and you say, "Let's go get a Paul," which might be a very short beer, or a bartender who has been working all night watching everybody else have fun and who says, "You know what? I think that I need to put something on Paul's tab and get a little something."
You're getting warmer, Susan. You're getting
to get
warmer.
me something through the night.
You did it.
But, I mean, these are all just conjectures and rumors. I mean, it may or may not be true.
Well, the importance of storytelling is to bring things forward that actually are true, and that's throughout the history of the world. Right. That's been a really important thing is keeping these stories moving forward, right?
Correct.
And Paul remains a constant.
On Nantucket, indeed.
Yeah, I mean, you said it best. Maybe you should have made this film.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, you know what? For the
You should have made
next
this.
round, I think you should just.
Yeah, Susan, you're good.
You did a way better job.
Yeah, very good job.
Thank you. Well, I guess we're done here.
Yeah, we're done here.
Good job. I can't wait to see your short.
Thank you very much. No, but seriously, guys, it is a really great thing. And part of the reason why I'm coming up with all of these one-liners or whatever is because I really enjoyed it. And I couldn't help but, when I was watching it, come up with some really fun ideas.
Cool.
And, there is something to be said for people who have wonderful movie ideas who never followed through. And I give you guys credit because I've got I got a lot of movie ideas, but, and everybody always says, I got the best idea of film, but, it's the people who actually go and do it, and it is not an easy thing.
Well, that's what this festival is about, which I really think is amazing, is that this festival encourages people to pick up the camera and try and go for it.
Yeah.
And this is, what year is this now? Is this a fourth year, fifth year?
It's 2019, yes.
Dan, what year is this for the film festival?
7th year.
So this is the 7th year and the most submissions ever. It's just fantastic. And again, it's about creativity. It's about people deciding, having an idea, picking up the camera and going for it. And
you guys did.
And hopefully we can inspire, and all these films today should inspire other people that will come watch and maybe next year want to go out and pick up the camera and do it.
And I just want to say that these are the guys that make it happen.
Yeah.
100%. Yep.
Nantucket Community Television.
Yeah, we're just happy to be a part of it.
A round of applause for Nantucket Community Television.
True story.
All right, kids, get in there.
Thank you. Nervous.
message system. The mailbox belonging to Jeannie Cook is full. Please hang up.
Sorry, Jeannie. Well. Jeannie Cook is not a name that's come up. Paul. Go Paul.
Two different Pauls. Okay. Four Pauls.
Paul.
Because he was a dishwasher.
It was a bartender. The guy worked at the AC a million years ago.
And there was a server named Paul.
Was that there was a bartender on island. The manager, I believe.
I mean, there's so many different point of views what Paul is, you know?
Oh, hi there. I hope you're enjoying the film so far. You know, as a filmmaker, sometimes you have to make really tough decisions. And such is the case with this film right now. Trust us that we made a very critical and tough decision, but it's for the best for the island. So, with that, I want to encourage you all to go out and find your Paul. Pauls are all around us. And you know what? I think I'm going to go find my Paul right now.
In case there was anybody around that, like a management or something, he would just say, I need a vodka tonic, put it on Paul's tab. Like Paul was sitting in the back and had an ongoing tab with the bartenders, right? So the bartenders started thinking, we like this idea of like a fake Paul tab, you know? So they started just they would shrink and they'd say to Paul, and they'd be putting the shorty beers instead. So we started calling those Pauls. They just sort of evolved.
Here I am with Rick Kodalak and Melanie Kodalak, two people who have done amazing things with their lives. I had the opportunity to see the show, your film, beforehand. And I've known you guys for a really long time, and I have a newfound respect. And I mean, you guys are just so inspirational to me. What a life you've led, and I'm really impressed by that, and I just think that needs to be said.
Okay, thank
You've
you.
created a film by the name of Pacific Perseverance, and
Yes.
you certainly have shown that in the work that this film presents. So I look forward to seeing it again on the big screen, and I look forward to everyone else having the opportunity to see what people have done with their lives.
Yeah.
Great
Yeah.
stuff. And you have raised two kids in this journey as well.
Yes.
And
Zachary and Maya.
Zachary and Maya, and that is tremendous that they have been able to share in this journey with you.
Yeah.
So tell me how the film came about, and then we'll talk just a little bit about this journey.
We had planned on doing a trip from the Caribbean to, hopefully through the Panama Canal to the Pacific, and for once in my life I thought I'd bring along a camera, movie. Usually we don't, and you forget about things you do, and so we thought it'd be a good opportunity to take some pictures. And then Hurricane Irma destroyed the boat, and that added to the story. And then we had Dan LeMaitre on board. And he's
a local photographer,
he's a
Dan LeMaitre.
professional, and he took some great pictures, and we spliced it all together.
Yeah. Danny LeMaitre, I call him Danny. I know since he was a kid, but he is such a remarkable photographer. And now I realize what an incredible filmmaker he is, because what you guys were able to put together in 10 minutes, because I'm sure you had a few more than 10 minutes that you had to work from.
Right.
But it was remarkable. I mean, he's really good. So I think that deserves to be said.
Yes.
So Hurricane Irma, I mean, it seems like every time we turn on the TV these days, it's all we hear about is another weather crisis, aside from all the other crises. I see you taking a deep breath with that. Your boat was obviously taken by Hurricane Irma, and that must have just been devastating to you. You had this beautiful, I mean, tell me about Alexandra.
Alexandra is a 50-foot. It's a 50-foot trimaran. That's okay. And Rick bought it a few years back to take my son sailing, and then we decided that it was a good time to go on the South Pacific trip, which Rick it's been his dream trip for a long time. So we kind of put it back together. But the Irma damaged it. It was basically totaled. But Rick had the perseverance to find the parts and put it back together and start again. So that's what a big part of this film.
Okay. It's outlined in the film, so I'm not saying anything I shouldn't say. You had a point in your life in which you were concerned about your son, and you decided that the best thing to do, perhaps the both of you decided this, that it was time to take off and, maybe teach some life lessons that I think are so beneficial to perhaps every child. I think sometimes you just have to get out of your element and realize what's out there.
Yeah, it was good timing with that. Zach was having some issues with, his behavior or whatever at the time, and it was, so we put him in it was called Brat Camp. It was very professional wilderness camp, outward bound on steroids, and it was a real McCoy. They dragged him around the desert and stuff, and the program ended up being 81 days with no contact with his parents, whatever, and he did really well with it. He excelled in it, and he broke some of his habits. So, he was just having a hard 16, as we all do, had hard time figuring things out, and so Melanie suggested that I buy a boat. I'd had a lifetime of boats, and I didn't really want a monohull again, so I got this trimaran, and it was during the recession, so it all worked out, and sure enough, we bought the boat. As soon as Zach got out of the program, he helped me put the boat together in Florida, and we headed off to the Bahamas, and it was great. He loved it, and he was still trying to figure things out, but he wasn't in the environment where he was before that, so really appreciate it. And then it turned out to be a family trip and a family boat, and then we kept it for 10 years and did lots of sailing with it. But the Pacific trip we wanted to film, so we did.
So we're talking 7,000 plus miles.
Nautical miles.
Nautical miles. Which is
just
even more insane.
Just from the Caribbean to the South Pacific.
We started in Nantucket, and that was 1,800 miles or something from Nantucket to Bermuda, and then on down to the Caribbean. So that was an initial journey, and there wasn't anything we had not explored in the Caribbean, so we headed west, and started, a long journey.
The boat is equipped with solar panels and electric engines, so it's a very self-sufficient, energy-efficient boat.
I kind of planned on doing the trip. I wanted to for, say, 5 or 6 years. So every winter when we went down, we added more stuff, solar panels, and and equipment.
Water makers.
And every year it was a long period. And then the boat was equipped, and then Irma came through and just, totaled the boat. So.
And we were lucky. It was salvageable, but a lot of people had a lot worse than we did,
Yeah, and you were lucky that you had the means to and the ability to get the parts together. I won't get into too much of that because it's outlined in the film and I don't want to give it away, but it's remarkable. There might have been times when people questioned you, but I think, sometimes, and also this was your other baby.
Yeah, we made it happen. It was a huge undertaking that came together. We were very fortunate in lots of different aspects of it that it did come together. A big one being an insurance company gave me a check for a total boat, So it takes money and time and knowledge and lots of effort, to put it back together.
Beautiful stuff. A lot of people are afraid of the ocean, and perhaps with good reason, because the ocean certainly, obviously I love and respect the ocean, and as we all do. That must have been quite a journey. Were there situations where you got into that you questioned, your ability to get through?
Yeah, always, and especially on this trip because we're so much on your own. You're so remote. There were times, from Galapagos to Marquesas where you're 3,000 miles and there's no land, so you're 1,500 miles from the nearest piece of land, and you better be prepared. And we were, and we didn't. I've been in some major storms at sea. We didn't hit any major storms, but every day, every watch, there's something. You better be doing things right, or you pay a price for it. So,
How many of you were on the boat? Speaking of watch, so somebody always has to be awake. In other words, so four of you
at a time. At least four.
So you're taking shifts.
Take shifts, 4-hour shifts, and I think actually the roughest weather we had was in the Caribbean. And when we left Haiti, we went from Haiti straight down to Colombia. We went from, say, north to south across the Caribbean Ocean, and we hit some heavy winds there, 40-plus knots of winds and 15-foot seas, and, it's a challenge.
And we had to re-rig it in Panama. Our rigging got messed up, and we had to wait for 6 weeks for parts just in Panama, so it wasn't easy.
Yeah. Well, and also the other thing I think that needs to be said is sometimes you land on land and it doesn't really offer you much. There may be one little tiny store that may not have the supplies that you need, or
very much so. Owning a marine supply store did not hurt. I had double, triple spare parts and lines, and I really put the best of everything into it, and it paid off. But still, after Irma, there were some memories along the way.
Yeah.
It was funny because I everybody that went on the trip, I made them read the book Kon-Tiki, which to me was like the biggest adventure story ever. I don't know if you know the story, but those guys in their 20s after World War II got a raft and somehow put it together in the west coast of South America and sailed for over 100 days to the Pacific to prove how the indigenous people got there. But it was just constant fixing things, and so we get to live that a bit because we were fixing things the whole way.
Yeah.
And provisioning for a boat is a science as well for these long journeys. You have to.
I can only imagine. Yeah. Well, I give you guys so much credit. I have such. As I said, I have so much more respect for you guys. I've always enjoyed, you guys and known you for many years, but this really speaks volumes about the depth of who you are. So I'm getting emotional. Thank you for sharing your story with us. Great. And I hope that you'll have an opportunity to put this into a longer form, because I have a feeling there is a lot of information and other things that would be great to share with all of us in that journey, because honestly, I can honestly say in this lifetime that's not on my bucket list, but I'm gonna watch you guys and enjoy that, because as I said, I have respect for the ocean and I know my ability, and it's beyond that, so it's pretty amazing. Thanks, guys. I look forward to seeing it again on the big screen.
The ocean's a bit in my genes, having the full ancestry of the whalers and the commercial fishing that were in my family. 9 generations of Nantucketers on both sides of my mother and father. Idle time's not my thing. I like to be building and doing stuff with my hands. I've been building and repairing boats for 40 or 50 years, and obviously I guess I'm still doing it. I'm getting a little old for this shit. Growing up on Nantucket, I went through high school. I graduated high school in '72, and it was a completely different world than what's there now. We lived off the land, the hunting and fishing, and that was the lifestyle I grew up with. While I was in college, I started commercial scalloping with my uncle, and there was 150 boats at the time, and it was a good way to make quite a bit of money quickly. Most of the guys bought their supplies locally from the yacht store, the ship's chandlery, and the prices were pretty high. So I went down to New Bedford and talked to old man Charlie Beckman, and he handed me the big 3-inch marine catalog and said, hey, you can get wholesale prices on anything you want. And I started Brant Point Marine, and it was a hit right out of the gate. There were 150 bay scalloping boats when I started. The fishery was heavy, and I started, for the first time in my life, making some real money selling marine supplies.
Rick's had the business at 78, but 1991 is when I came on board, yeah. Our life is in and around the water. We're commercial fishing people, we surf, we sail. The ocean is a big part of our lives. Our kids have always sailed with us. Zach was 3 months old on the boat, and from 3 months to 3 years old, he lived on the boat every summer. And in the winter, we sailed. And Maya sailed with us. She was a year old, and we were doing deliveries in the Caribbean. So she has a lot of sailing experience as well.
When my son was in his later years in high school, he was doing all the things he shouldn't have done. And we sent him off to a camp of sorts. And when he got out of that, my wife said, no, we said, what do we do? Put him back in the same knuckleheads he's hanging with, or do we? She said, take him sailing. I said, all right. So I bought Alexandra 50-foot trimaran, and we got it down to Florida, and we sailed it over to the Bahamas, and Zach homeschooled his junior year in high school, and we kind of lived off the sea, if you will, in the Bahamas for 3 months, catching fish and homeschooling and with family and friends, or just Zach and I. He still says, and we all say, it's one of the best things he's ever done. We keep our boat in St. Martin, and it's right in the hurricane belt, but I had it in a very good boat yard. But then Irma became the strongest hurricane in Atlantic history. It switched directions and it just T-boned St. Martin and just destroyed this island. I was looking at the helicopter footage of the boatyard trying to see my boat. Finally, after 2.5 weeks, my friends started getting solar panels and recharging batteries and getting hotspots and getting some sort of emails out. And then I saw my sailboat. I could see from the pictures the boat was pretty much destroyed. It had flipped off of its boat stands, and one of the pontoons was snapped, the 2 beams were snapped, centerboard broke in half, engine driven up into the hull, rudder smashed in, 20 holes in the boat. I mean, the thing was total.
No, I think that Rick figures it out as he goes along. If there's a possibility to do something in a much different way than most people do them, it's Rick's way of putting the boat back together.
It's almost miraculous that this project came together the way it did. There were 5 of these Contour 50s built. I found a sister ship in San Diego that was going to an auction, 3 weeks after my boat got destroyed. It's a long story, but I did it. I went out there with a crew from Nantucket, and we completely dismantled this boat for the parts that I needed. I got $200,000 worth of parts for $10,000. I had to do it. I put all that stuff on a cargo carrier, shipped it across from San Diego to Miami, and then I went to 4-Star Cargo, where they put it on a container ship and delivered it to the boatyard where my boat was smashed up in St. Martin. Financially, time-wise, it would have been a smarter move to walk away and maybe go charter a boat here or there, or sign up for a surf camp or this or that. Life would be so much easier, but maybe not as exciting.
I think Rick was a little crazy going to the length he did to put the boat back together, but it's a labor of love, and we love the ocean and sailing, and that boat, we know it so well. So what Rick wants to do with the boat, sailing it to the Pacific, this is the boat he wants to do it in. It's prepared for it.
It's just, you come in here with this New England work ethic and you just push, push, push. 6 months after Irma, we launched Alexander again, and she's as solid as ever. A 7-month trip started in St. Martin with a stop in Haiti to drop off relief supplies. Then 550 miles to Cartagena, Colombia, and onward to the Panama Canal. The Pacific journey started in Panama with myself, my daughter Maya, and my son Zach. With a 1,000-mile trip across the equator to the Galapagos. We then had a 3,000 miles of open Pacific Ocean to the Marquesas. This took us 3 weeks of sailing. Once in French Polynesia, our dream trip to the South Pacific was complete.
am here with Sam and Sanchez Uman. And they have created a wonderful film about an amazing person here on the island who is just a really great artist. And I love the way in which you did this because Robert McKee, the artist, is not a really social, I'll say, person, you know, and I think that was such an interesting way to get him to sort of come about. And I say that just from an outside perspective. I'm not friends with Robert, so perhaps that was... But at any rate, I'm pleased that you brought this out. He's an incredible artist, and we're lucky to have him here on Nantucket. How did you end up starting this process?
Well, I think that was really one of our main intentions, was to try to bring him back into the community, because he's been an artist here on Nantucket for 30 years now, and we really wanted to kind of bring him out and bring him into the world a little more, because he has been kind of retracted back into because of his condition right now.
So thoughts on that?
Yeah, so, you know, when you look at Robert's life, so much has changed for him. Because of his physical condition, he is basically in one place. But even though so much has changed, something stayed the same, which is the intimacy of our friendship.
Yes.
The way he paints and the way his hair grows. So it is about the constant
I love that.
Friendship and
Yes.
intimacy. You know, we have a very intimate relationship.
Yes.
And creating in itself and hair cutting in itself is always intimate.
Yes.
And that is what we were trying to portray. And I was very lucky that Sam wanted to help me make this movie, this tribute to Robert. So it's a tribute to Robert.
Yes, absolutely, without question. A remarkable man who's been here for many years, who has done great work. And I think sometimes we just assume, you know, like I know you, for example, but I never see you. And there's so many people on this island that we never see. And I think sometimes it's important to reach out to those people. They might cross our mind and think about them because, you know, he is a remarkable person. He has such great artwork. So I'm so pleased that you guys dug in, because I'm assuming it took a little bit of pushing to get him to do this.
Yeah, it did take a little bit, but we really wanted to highlight their relationship, and that's been going on for so long. They've known each other for 30 years. It's been 30 years that she's been cutting his hair, that they've been making art together, and we wanted to show this portrait as to symbolize their friendship and the intimacy and the creation that has occurred on this island together.
Right. I wish you could see Sanchez's eyes as well as I see right now, because she's just, as we speak about him, her eyes just light up, and you can see the great love that you have for this man, and it's just tremendous that you guys are able to do this, you know? And there's a lot of us out here, and we need to remember to rekindle and reconnect. So very good. Thank you so much. I look forward to seeing it on the big film. I don't want to give too much away, but it is a lovely film. Thank you.
Well, Robert.
Hi.
I think it's time for a haircut, don't you think?
Yes, I think that's a good idea.
Yeah? What do you want today? What kind of...
The usual.
The usual? What is the usual?
I want you to make me look like Steve McQueen.
Steve McQueen, well, we can do that. Robert, I was just thinking the other day, how long has it been that I've been cutting your hair?
A good long time, probably 30 years or so.
30 years?
Yeah.
Whoa. Oh, just relax. Nice. So what have you been up to, Robert? Have you been painting lately?
Yes.
You have?
Yeah, I've been painting.
What are you working on?
It's just that it's in slow motion. I don't paint very fast, but I'm still painting.
Yeah? What are you working on?
I'm working on that picture right over there. Basically, I'm just painting my world, which consists of this room.
Dead roses. I see dead roses.
Yeah, well, that's one of my favorite subjects.
How come?
Well, I like to look at them. They die while I'm in the middle of painting them, and I got to like looking at the dead roses. So now I keep roses, let them die, and then paint.
Oh. Oh, nice. Nice. Can you look this way? Thank you. It was so interesting to think now of the energy we had that first year. How we find a place to exhibit. Right on that first summer on Main Street. What was it? We opened July 1st or something in 1989 on what used to be the camera shop, right,
was it
Robert?
89 or 90?
What was it?
I think it was 90.
90?
Basically donated a building to us on Main Street. And so, yeah, we opened our gallery on Main Street.
That was great.
You know, we formed the gallery and had our first show, and it sort of occurred to me and probably everybody else, it's like, oh, we have to put a painting in this show.
And then Robert, you, for all these years, you hold the light in that place. Like a beacon. I remember myself with so much traveling and study and back and forth, but you were the constant. Like this hair cutting, it's the constant. The red thread. Everything changes, but the hair still grows. Yeah. No, you know what? That whole experience that you make things possible, Robert, for other people, is because you share so much of your inner world with other people.
If you say so. I don't think, well, I don't think about that end of it that much.
No, not anymore.
Well, not ever. I do what I do, and the effect that it has on anybody else is pretty much up to them. Well, yeah. I just mean now, when I used to paint, I would paint fast. I mean, I used a lot of energy.
Yeah.
And I didn't waste any time actually painting.
Yeah.
Now I'm just slow. It takes me a long time to do anything.
I'm going to save some of this hair for later because maybe we want to do something with it.
Okay.
It's another nice art supply. I know you have so much work around you here, Robert. Every painting is a win. You know, you have so many paintings around here in this room where you live, and there's every painting is like a little world on its own. All these stories.
Well, that's nice.
Nice.
It's nice that you think so.
So can you bend your head forward a little bit? I just want to...
You know, I don't, my painting, like I'm as curious as anybody else might be. I have no idea what they're going to look like when I start.
Yeah.
And one of the interesting things to me is to look at a painting I made when I'm finished and just think, oh, look at that. Like I did that.
Yeah.
And it's a surprise to me.
Yeah. That's the best part, right? Isn't that the best part about making things?
Well, yeah. I mean, some things are made on purpose and some things are just the result of something else. I was thinking the other day about this. It's like the Grand Canyon was made by the Colorado River. It wasn't designed by an architect, And if an architect tried to design the Grand Canyon, it wouldn't be as amazing as it is when it was caused by accident.
Well, by the natural forces, nature.
Yeah. So painting for me is kind of like that. It's like being the river, and whatever results from that river is a painting. And paintings, and that way of thinking about it. Like I don't plan my paintings, I just have a general idea.
Yeah, it has its own way, huh? Its own language, own life. Great.
It was the Colorado River, wasn't it?
Yes.
Okay.
No. Great. I think this is good.
Okay. Perfect.
I am standing here with Lori Richards. She is the proud, talented mother of her even perhaps more talented son, Mookie Richards. And Mookie created this wonderful film called Charlie and Chappie, and it's a kick. It's a really funny film. I really enjoyed it. I love the fact that you used some local actors, which of course, you being an actress must have,
Yes.
That's kind of fun being part of this wonderful project. It's really fun. I want everybody to see it because it kind of cracks me up. But the one thing I want to say is, do not do what they did. Because I'm worried that other people are going to try to go in and do this crazy stuff. And when you see the film, you'll know what I'm talking about. I'm only kidding. It's a lovely film. It really is. And he did such a great job. What is Mookie going to be doing? Is this something he's going to pursue?
Yes, as a matter of fact, he's in Europe now. He's walking the Camino in Spain.
Oh, wow.
And then when he comes back, he's going to a film school up in Maine where I studied photography.
Wow.
I know, it's called Maine Media. And he'll be doing a 1-year-long film program there.
Wow. I got to tell you, some of the best photographs, truly probably the best photographs I have of my family were taken by you.
Thank
so I
you.
can only imagine what this child is going to do with his life, because obviously you're such an inspiration.
You're so sweet.
Yeah.
He's amazing.
Yeah, he is.
He's
and he did
remarkable.
such a great job with this film.
Yes, I'm so proud of him.
I mean, this is not an easy task, and
No.
nor is it an easy industry to get into. So I give him a
Right.
lot of credit for following his passion.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. And are you in there like pushing him in, or is he just marching
well,
on?
no, he does his own thing. I mean,
Yeah.
he's really, he knows what he wants to do and he's going to do it.
Yeah.
Whether I,
Yeah. Whether
am
you warn
involved or
him
not.
Yeah, I know, it's always fun when
nothing.
our kids follow their passion, but you always kind of
Yes.
want to say, this is not going to be an easy road.
Well,
and
he's had a lot of people on Nantucket who have been so good to him, like
Great.
Lisa Getter and Dan Driscoll and John
Yes.
Shea, like so good that he has the opportunities to
Right.
work with people as amazing
Yes.
as that.
All part of Nantucket Community Television.
Yes.
Yeah. So no, absolutely. We are so blessed to have such incredible people here.
I know, so
and
lucky.
and to have people who are so encouraging.
Yes.
So good for him. I wish him all the best, and I can't wait to see not only this film on the big screen, but future projects.
Thank you so much, Susan.
All right, Lori, we'll see you in there.
Okay, bye.
All right.
Where the hell are we?
Been trying to say is this food is disgusting.
You ate the whole thing.
The service sucks here.
God, it's supposed to rain tomorrow.
Yeah, my dad's gonna kill me.
To nothing.
To nothing.
So how'd you do on that test?
Oh, great. Got it 57.
Damn.
I don't even care about the test. I mean, least of all high school in general. As we all know, high school is a barbaric hellhole, and I, for one, have no interest in taking part of it. No. What I really need to know is, are you with me? We're gonna have to hit the road after this next job, Charlie, all right? Until we get shot or get lucky. We're fugitives. You understand what that entails? It means that we need to get our shit together, Charlie, all right? No more petty grocery stores or restaurant jobs. We're past that. Also, I think you should leave Ralphie with your mom. Look, I know, Charlie, all right? It's hard for me, too. I have to leave my watercolors behind. We're both making sacrifices. But are you flipping when I'm stripping? No more mistakes.
I'm with you. You're my best friend, Chappie.
And do you mind, Charlie? Here.
Are these real?
Yeah, you know my Uncle Vinny, race car driver with the beard and the mustache?
Yeah.
I told him to get fake ones, but I guess it ended up being easier to get the real thing.
What else is in the bag?
Oh, dynamite, a grappling hook, some rope, a tuna fish sandwich. and-
Tuna fish sandwiches?
Safety precaution. Come on, we're moving up in the world, Charlie.
Mary Casey.
Hello, Susan Beaumont.
Manager of our hospital thrift shop, 90 years of the hospital thrift shop.
That's right.
That's
90
amazing.
years. Yes. A long history, and I am just one of many managers who have come before me.
Yeah, I think it's terrific because to think that they had that foresight to think that they were going to be selling things not only to benefit the hospital, but reuse, that whole, that green thing that we talk about today. 90 years ago, they were figuring out how to reuse things, which sort of is the Nantucket way, let's say.
Absolutely. Yes,
Yeah.
we are the biggest recycling and reuse operation, I think, except for the take it or leave it, of course.
Which is another film. Let's talk about your film. You directed this beautiful film about the hospital thrift shop, and you got to speak to a lot of your volunteers who did a great job and who do a great job keeping that shop organized. And so tell me about that process.
Sure. Last year, about a year ago, at our board meeting, the board decided that they really wanted to celebrate our 90th year.
Yes.
And they thought of different ways to do this. And they also discussed how we have a great story to tell because people come in day to day, but there's so much more to it that we do off-season, behind the scenes. So we wanted to share that story. And at the same time, we wanted to celebrate our volunteers, and we wanted to celebrate our donors, and we also wanted to celebrate our shoppers, because really we can't be in business with if one of those components were missing, we wouldn't make it.
Every year, you guys are able to manage to put together this beautiful shop, which creates a great deal of money for our hospital, which is then used to purchase specific equipment that might be needed for the island. Tremendous. Do you know the amount that 2019 will bring in?
I don't know that.
Okay.
That is a process that the board goes through.
Okay.
And they always make that announcement at the November board meeting when they present that check to the hospital. It's been Margot in the past, but this year they'll present it to some other people at the hospital this year. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And
So
our brand new beautiful hospital. But again, this
Correct.
is for, equipment. In the past, it's been like, $325,000 that we've been able to raise by people, dropping things off.
That's correct. Well, last
sorting
year
it
was
out.
$427,610.
Oh my gosh, there you go.
Yes. So exactly, all our money is raised by donations. And we do not consign anything, so we really rely on the community in many ways. As I said, we have our volunteers, we have our donors, and we have our shoppers. So really the message to everybody is everybody can be involved.
Right.
And when we present our check, we hope everyone celebrates who has come in to shop, who has dropped off a bag of goods, whatever they have done to help us.
Yeah, and it really is remarkable that you guys are able to put this together. One of the questions I had is how difficult is it to determine the value of things? And sometimes, and is there something that stands out in your mind that may be just like, wow?
Absolutely. We are so blessed with the donations we get here on Nantucket. We have a lot of people who research items, and you'll see that in the film. They use the internet, they use their own prior knowledge, they use their experiences to value the items. And it's always a little tricky because we're a thrift shop.
Yeah.
But at the same time, we get such valuable donations, we want to be sure that we are getting the best value for our goods.
Yes.
But at the same time, we want people to leave and feel really good about their bargain that they got at the thrift shop.
Perfect. That's great. Well, thrift shop opening day is always a huge event out here, so we look forward to the opening day next year.
Thank you.
And truly, Nantucket is famous for a thrift store, so
We
I
are.
thank you for continuing that
Thank you.
tradition and for doing such a great job with the volunteers who obviously enjoy working with you, because to find volunteers on an island that is so expensive is difficult, and you do such a great job of it.
Thank you. I want to thank the volunteers because really they connect with each other and with our shoppers and our donors, and it's really just a fun place to be.
Aw, thank you, Mary.
Thanks, Susan. Thanks for
great
being
work.
a shopper.
Absolutely. I love to shop at the thrift stores. Great work on the film, and we'll see you
Thank
up
you.
there on the big screen.
Thank you.
They opened in 1931 at 12 Liberty Street, and up until 1944, their shop was in 5 different places. At one point, they were down on Federal Street and Pearl, which we know as India, until they had a board meeting and decided that they really needed their own building. The board decided that they would purchase a home that was on the market at 17 India Street for the sum of $7,500. To this day, we're still taking very good care of it, and that is one of the major financial responsibilities that the board continues to have. They put the building first, which is as it should be.
The house was built in 1792, to our best knowledge. Filled out a grant request, and we were awarded a grant from the CPC. And through the gracious work of the CPC and the Preservation Trust Group, we were able to get the right people to look at the house. And now we know what needs to be done. And every year, we do something with the house to preserve it. Not only the historical value that it has to the town, the public comes through it. They get to see the rooms that are there, the transoms that are there, the wainscoting that was there. So they get to see what an old house on Nantucket looks like. It started in 1929, and it's been in business, since then.
Getting ready for our 90th season. Today we have the volunteers in on, it's the end of November. We're getting ready for our donation day this weekend. So today we had to get everything into place and make our work area ready to go because we always get lots of donations on donation day. And we had the place painted, so everything was out of place. And now we have everything ready and we're ready to take the donations in and process them for opening day.
As always, this is a theme throughout. We depend on our donors to give the goods, that we sell the household furnishings and the gifts.
We sort as much as we can at that time for the 2 hours. And it's amazing how much inventory can come in. The hospital thrift shop could open tomorrow and fill that literally basement to the second story full of clothes, art, books. We have a children's room upstairs.
So much comes in a couple of months.
Donation day can be anything. The bulk of it is clothes, glasses, glass, china, miscellaneous items that are placed in the basement, which could be small pieces of furniture, large pieces of furniture.
The thrift shop has really thrived. I mean, we're a place of interest now. People come to the island so they can come to the thrift shop. This is an institution.
The group of volunteers are just amazing, and they're a delight to work with.
And I think that's what's really nice about the community of volunteers that are there. They will do whatever needs to be done to make the shop a success.
And we could be in there in the winter. There's no heat in the building. They have small heaters, and it is cold. Everyone for 2 or 3 hours is just delightful and sorting. They do it with such joy.
Okay, so here we are. We're about midway through our off season, and we're going to be continuing to take donations. And when you look around the shop, you see there's a lot of stuff. So we're at a point where we're just trying to manage everything coming in, because everything's coming in, but nothing's going out. So we're getting ready for donation day on Saturday, and we're expecting a big one because it's been really cold, and I think people have been doing a lot of cleaning out.
All I can say is that this island is fantastic. Because it's an island, we get the most fantastic donations.
People don't need something anymore, but it still has use and somebody else might want it, so it shows up on our doorstep.
The array of stuff we have, people think it's all used stuff. It isn't. And the used stuff, you would hardly know it's even used, most of it. I started volunteering in 2006. We retired here full-time in 2005. Prior to that, my mother had run the basement here in the late 60s, 70s, and probably into the early 80s. And I'll meet somebody somewhere else. Oh, yes, I know her from the thrift shop. Or a lot of people say, well, do you know so-and-so? she volunteers or he volunteers. No, if they don't volunteer on this level, I probably don't even see them.
Without the internet and my iPad, I would be lost. You know, that's the reality of it. And fortunately, we live in a world now that anything you can think of is here, is there. The most obscure thing, just type it in here, and it'll tell you what it is. When you don't know, you can give something away. And this is the hospital thrift shop. Obviously, it says hospital thrift shop, but if something comes in that has value, you can't consider it a piece of thrift. It's something important and has value.
Volunteering down there is like, I want to be part of the fun that these volunteers seem to have with one another. And you know, are paired or maybe 2 or 3 people work in an area that you didn't know before, and then you make friends with them, and then next thing you know, you're traveling with them.
I love the people. I love my board. I love the volunteers. We have wonderful volunteers. I can't say enough about the management team. They're just really, really great people, and they've done so much to bring everything together. The goal is to make the hospital thrift shops thrive and make money for the hospital, serve the community, and I think that we work all together to achieve that mission really well. We provide affordable goods to the community. We're in an older building, we're in a historic community, we have a preservation easement on the external part of the building, and we really work hard to be a part of historic Nantucket. We raise money for the hospital, which is the ultimate outcome of everything.
It is with great pride that the Hospital Thrift Shop presents the Nantucket Cottage Hospital with this check for $386,000. Our wish is for this money to be used to purchase one of each of the items on your capital request list for year 2019.
We are dependent on philanthropy for cash flow break even, which means that we really don't have a capital equipment budget except for donations like the thrift shop.
And we're going to open the door in about 1 hour.
Opening day is always one of the first things I put on my yearly calendar. It always inspires me to talk to the staff and get the sense of their excitement. And you remember people are having a wonderful experience. It's delivering patient care. There's a direct connection to care on the island. And so it's all wrapped up in one wonderful opening.
And thank you, everybody, all of you who have been here all winter and all of you who just arrived. So we're looking forward. It's our 90th year. Wow. Yeah, thank you.
And then you see that trail, that line of people down and around the corner waiting to come in.
You just wonder, what are they imagining that they're going to find?
The dilemma that everyone faces is, what room are you going to go into?
Yeah, but if
China, furniture,
she's not going to tell you. See, we don't share. We don't share. What we're looking
Good idea.
Well, there we go.
To our 90th year.
Yay! 90!
But we have, it's almost like a department store, and we don't have a department store here. So you have children's, you have men's, you have sporting goods and housewares, you have women's, you have thrift, you have gift, everything. There's something for everyone at our shop.
Quality over the years that I've been shopping there has just gone up and up. Now it's like a boutique.
There are different treasures every day. It is important to go there frequently. What was there yesterday may not be there tomorrow, and there are always new things.
There's always something there. I never walk out without anything.
Thank you for coming. Welcome.
I am here with Jan Campbell, who is part of the Tulgey Wood organization, which is just an amazing organization. I've seen it from afar here on the island, and I applaud you for this great work that you do. And one of the things that you bring out in the film is that, you know, people, I'm sure, thank you all the time. But
we're doing what we think is the most fun thing to do.
Right, how blessed you are to be able to be part of this.
Absolutely.
And when you see this film, you'll understand more. This is a film. I mean, tell me more about your organization. Perhaps you can.
Well, the Tulchi Wood, we started in 2006. We've been coming to Nantucket now for 14 summers. And we kind of grew out of a similar camp on Martha's Vineyard called Jabberwocky. And we are a community of people with and without disabilities, and we don't consider ourselves to be campers and counselors. We are all friends, and to the extent that we can always be on an equal footing, we are.
Right.
Although some of us are able to offer more care and more responsibility, and other people need more,
sure,
we're still all there as friends, and nobody gets paid, nobody pays to come. And it is what we all live for all year long.
Yeah, and it's such a joy. And, you know, because oftentimes people who are special, who are different from themselves, need to teach us how joyful life can be. And how the simplest things can be so joyful. There's a scene in the film, I'm going to get emotional here, where you're all just jumping around in puddles. And, you know, I mean, being a child and just enjoying that wonderful time, it's really remarkable. And it's a beautiful film. And unfortunately, the filmmaker cannot be here today. Is that correct?
He's in Belgium. He's on set in Belgium doing some kind of amazing screening that he's being very cagey about what it is.
Okay.
But we'll find out when it comes out.
Sure.
And he is such a multifaceted guy. He's been part of our community since, I think, 2004 or 5. So he started with us on the vineyard and came over here.
Right.
And he was going to come for a day or two.
Yes.
And I said, can you just do a 3-minute film on us? Just come for a day or two. And he said, sure, I can do that. He came for the entire time, from setup to close down.
Yeah.
He ended up with hundreds of hours, and he somehow managed to pull out 10 minutes.
Yeah, which is always very difficult. And he did a beautiful job. It's a beautiful film, and it really represents this wonderful group of people who, you know, sometimes are dismissed or forgotten. And I think it's important to recognize. I think perhaps it's innate in our own makeup that we are perhaps fearful, and we don't need to be afraid. That it's okay to love and to enjoy the company of others.
Absolutely. I think one of the people who had been volunteering there for like the last, 7 years already, said recently, you know, what I discovered when I came here is that it's okay to make jokes. I didn't know it would be okay to make jokes, but just like with any other friends, you rib each other.
Absolutely.
And I can do that here, and I love that.
Exactly. So, it's tremendous.
It is.
I'm really pleased that you're able to do this here and do this for yourself and for everyone that is involved. And I hope that this will encourage perhaps others to get involved in this organization and perhaps support it. And I look forward to seeing it up on the big screen.
Well, thank you so much. We're so happy to be on Nantucket, and we hope to be able to keep coming here.
Great.
So, thank you.
All right. Congratulations.
Can we turn this whole thing over?
He's doing a triple spin.
That's not a triple spin. It's either one or the other. It was a 50% spin. It was a 180. We're trying to say that I did a 360 here and that's wrong.
Oh.
You want me to stand by the elevator so I don't get in his shot?
Get something in your mind, dude.
Let's see.
You're blank.
I'm blank.
What Corbin's trying to say.
Sarah! Steve! We're back! So how you doing? I'm doing so good. How you doing? I've never been better. I'm so happy. I've never been better. Remember what happened last year? You scared me in the bathroom.
If anyone says, "Hey, who are you?" Who told you what? We're like, yeah, like, and then say our mission and leave.
Good morning, Jamie. Good morning, Ellen.
Good morning, Adama.
Good morning.
I think people often like to say, "Oh, you're such a saint. How sweet of you to be so selfless." And no, this is actually a very selfish place. Like this is the most fun we could possibly be having, and I think that's why most of us are here. It's not to give, but in some ways it's to take.
Up top.
Yeah, that should be good.
Okay. All right, keep breathing, and when you're ready, come up out of that triangle pose. We were there for a long time.
You're killing my body.
Ain't it hard keeping it so hardcore? All right? Okay. 1, 2, 3, and...
Hey, Ben, look.
I love this. Yeah, breathe.
It's for you. There you go.
Yeah.
Eminem.
Eminem would love that.
Look at this cup for you, my friend.
Oh, thanks, man.
That is good.
Oh, yeah.
If we did all the things we do in a day in a week, like when I'm at school, if I did all the things I did in a day in a week, I'd be like, wow, that was an exhausting week. And yet here, it's somehow just like
It's a normal day.
It's a normal day.
What the next week is going to look like is basically we are going to write it together. Everyone's going to come up with their own lines with help.
This group is sort of this amorphous blob that just kind of fills gaps.
The ambassador made it!
And whenever there's need for support or cleanup or making food or picking up someone from the ferry or whatever it is, because the attitude is always yes and the value system is always built on support and saying how much can I do for other people, there's this actual beautiful harmony that happens between people kind of filling voids and picking up the slack. Seem good? Because the waves are kind of big, so this kind of, listen, look. Is this good, Jack? There really is a sense of my doing this thing, whether it's noticed or unnoticed, will make the community stronger, and therefore it is the right thing to do. I don't know how that works at scale with thousands or millions or billions of people, but it works in this group. It works with 30 people who care about each other, who love each other.
Oh my god. Somebody help!
This is so nice. This is the best time I've had at the beach. This is such a good beach. Wow. Yeah.
Has it really only been 4 days?
You've only been here for like 2 days.
I know.
So, if you're gonna sing, sing quietly, because this is Andrew's only time to listen to it.
We go together.
We can show other.
I'm feeling heat in December when you're around me. Woo! I've been dancing on top of cars, stumbling out of bars, following through the dark and getting out. All the subliminal things no one knows about you, about you. Making the typical me break my typical rules.
Hi. Do you want to play?
We're putting on a play on Saturday. It's free to everyone. It's going to be really great. It's with that crew over there.
Great, thank you.
Yeah, bring your friends.
Will do, thank you.
What I especially love about the Tulgey Wood is how everybody treats us like we're equals, like we're just like everybody else. It's not like we're camping out in the woods and having to sleep in sleeping bags.
How about that one there? Yeah? Did we get the right size? Thank you so much.
Good day. This is like a second birthday gift.
So rarely are you able to just step into people's lives in such a personal way and just have everyone be so open and become so close to people so quickly.
I love to be happy.
That's what I love about you, Luke, is that you're always happy.
Something. We're carrying you over.
Michael, thank you for showing me Soldier Wood. There's no other place like this, I feel.
Do you feel like you have a lot of good friends here, Olivia?
Yes.
Yes. You certainly have a fan base with your singing. You're a beautiful singer.
What I especially love about the Tulgey Wood is how everybody treats us like we're equals and like we're just like everybody else. And I wish that all disability organizations could fall in the same suit, because I feel like they don't treat us with the respect as Tulgey Wood does.
We did more this year than last year. We had more fun, and I love you. Take me with you.
Love you, buddy.
Me too.
I am talking to two incredible people here who put together a film entitled Rebirth. I'm going to ask you to introduce yourselves.
Hi, my name is Derek Boyd.
My name is Jeffrey Eliska.
And tell me a little bit. I'm going to ask from his perspective, if I may. How did this film where did the idea for this film come about?
The idea is just to explain the power of music in my life, how the music changed my life when I was a kid and for now.
So you grew up in Haiti, am I correct?
Yeah, I grew up in Haiti, but my first year in America was 2012.
Okay.
Yes.
And you were struggling. You were struggling. It was a difficult time for you. It was difficult to kind of...
No, not very difficult, but the first time, I just started to adapt with the culture, with the American culture, but now for me, it's my second home.
Right. All right. So tell me how you came up with this idea for this film.
Well, originally, the plan was to find somebody with a great story. And me and Jeff Tay did previous work because he's a great musician. And
Yes.
the previous work we've done was him playing the piano, and we did piano covers. And I came to Jeff Tay, long story short, I came to Jeff Tay, he said, oh, why not just tell my story? And from there on, we started filming 2 weeks, editing, and it just came together beautifully.
It is a beautiful film, and I think really sometimes people struggle with their lives trying to figure out where they belong, and
Right.
and we all have things that kind of work against us. I was a pretty blonde white girl, and so I had struggles as you have struggles. So I just want to throw that out there. So we all kind of try to find our way through life, and sometimes we find something that we finally discover our passion.
Of course.
And it's interesting in the film how you sit down at a piano and suddenly things start to come together. And it is a beautiful story.
He actually hasn't seen it yet. So, so it's a surprise. It's
I just got chills. I just got chills.
Yeah, it's a surprise for him. So he actually hasn't seen it, but yeah, definitely, it's the first time he'll see it. It's definitely an escape, and great musician, and it helped him get through his bad behavior.
That's tremendous.
Yeah.
Thank you for doing that, and thank you for pursuing your passion, and for being such a lovely musician. And now you've turned into such a lovely person who can share that passion. And I'm just, and I'm so thrilled for you guys to go in and see yourself on the big screen, and know that, I think there's something to be said there too, that everyone has a story.
Right.
Life is not an easy place.
Right. And I think the most important part about filmmaking is the story. And that's why I love telling people's story.
Yeah. Well, I hope you'll continue to make more stories and share them with us, because you certainly found a wonderful story in this nice young man. Thank you so much. And I look forward to hearing some of your music live in person here on Nantucket. Yeah. All right, great. Well, I'm going to be watching your face during your film to see what it looks like to see yourself up there on this beautiful screen. It's going to be amazing. Congratulations on a beautiful film. Thank you so much.
I believe 100% that's because of music, I can forget all my behavior. I lost my father when I was 4 years old, and my mother has to grow up 4 boys by herself, so I could say that was very tough for her. And also I was a kid, complicated kid to raise up, because I always fight with the kid. I like playing with fire. And I remember one day I was playing in a fire, and in the living room there's a candle, and I just take paper, put in the fire and blow it off. And the last one I could not blow it off, and I just threw the paper out, and when I come back there's fire in the living room. I remember one day at school, they sent me back home because for my attitude, because the way I was living. And I remember at night I was sitting with my mother, and maybe for about 2 hours, and after I see she was crying, and I just realized because of my attitude, my behavior. So I never forget this experience, because it was very painful for me, even when I was a kid, when I see my mother crying because of me. And after a couple of weeks, I just find a piano. It's a very small piano, and I start playing this piano. I could not play like even 2 notes, just 1 note, the melody. And I start playing a lot of hymn, a lot of song from my church. And I remember there is a man, he just see me play and he say, oh, maybe this guy has something good he can do in life. Because I was like crazy kid. I believe 100% that's because of music, I can forget all my behavior, my bad behavior. And there's a lot of people, they didn't think I could be like, I don't know, I could be like a good person in life. I remember when I was at Butler Farm, there's one Sunday, me and my two friends from Haiti, we were looking for a church to go because it's our first time. We just walked about maybe 2 hours on the town because we didn't know the city. We lost, and we just found Summer Street Church, and we go inside. And after I was talking with the worship leader. I said, "Oh, I'm a keyboard player, and I can play music." He said, "Okay, we can do some stuff." For me, I think everyone come on the planet with something good, something greater than them. So at any time, at any moment, this thing will come out. Even that person himself could not stop it. That thing will come out to help other people wherever we go. So I think God created us with something special to help other people. Whatever you want, whatever you are at any moment, this special thing will come out. Will come out. You cannot stop it.
I'm here with Penny Dye, who created a film called Dr. Winslow's Heart. It's a remarkable film. Having worked at the Historical Association, I am familiar with this story. And I was familiar with it prior to that because it was one of those stories, as you say in the film, that was sort of passed down. And there was a question, is this really true that someone would go to this extent? So tell us a little bit more.
Yes, I can verify that it is true.
It is a true story.
Yeah, and it's a story that was told to us when we were children. growing up out in Quidnet in the summers. And as children, we would go and find the marker for the grave. And I went back last summer to try and find it again, and I'd not been in many years, and it was completely gone, grown over. And I fell into it. It was a hole.
You fell into it. Isn't that interesting?
Yeah. So I've been telling the story to my nieces and my nephew as it was told to us.
Yes.
Because I think if you don't tell the stories, they can disappear.
Correct.
Completely.
Correct.
And I loved doing the research. That was one of my favorite parts about it.
Yes. And you've done research on other things here on the island, so I appreciate the fact that you have continued to do that and keep these stories going forward, because that is an important part of it. I don't want to give too much away here, because I think this is really a wonderful story, and I think you need to see the film to understand, really what's involved here. But congratulations. I think you did a really wonderful job.
Thank you so much. May I say one other little thing?
Absolutely.
Okay, so my brother is a real filmmaker. And
a real filmmaker.
Yeah, a real
I'm
one.
not sure what that means, but go ahead.
It means like a director who lives in Hollywood.
Yes, I understand.
And we made a bet a couple of years ago. I bet him he couldn't knit a sweater, and he bet me I couldn't make a film.
Ah! Where's your sweater?
It's not done. I won. Thank you.
Well, you did a great job.
Thank you so much.
Yes. Okay. All right, we'll see you on the big screen, my dear. Thank you very much.
We were lucky enough to spend summers in Quidnet each year in the old life-saving station, also known as Humane House number 61. In the 19th century, treacherous shoals and inclement weather led to over 700 shipwrecks around Nantucket, which became known as the Graveyard of the Atlantic. More than a dozen shacks were scattered around the island shoreline for shipwrecked mariners. Later on, life-saving boats were built and placed on the shore where the wrecks were most frequent. Eventually, structures were built to house these boats, which became known as humane houses. Summers in Quidnet were simple and fun. We had free rein for adventures: biking, sailing, swimming, games on the beach, and fishing. This is me. We caught a lot of bluefish, and ugh, the next day, my mother would make something called bluna fish, which none of us liked. This is a story about a story that we were told when we were children. We always thought it was a ghost story, but it turns out that it is really a love story about coming home to Nantucket. The story of Dr. Winslow's heart would usually be told to us while we were gathered around the fire on a dark and stormy night. Charles F. Winslow was born in a house on India Street in 1811 when the American flag had only 15 stars and James Madison was president. When he died, the flag had 38 stars and Ulysses S. Grant was president. In 1811, there were 6,807 people living on Nantucket. The Nantucket Enquirer was first published in 1821. The Great Fire wiped out most of town in 1846. In 1855, Dorcas Honorable, the last Native American Indian, died. And, of course, Nantucket was the whaling capital of the world. Dr. Winslow had a natural curiosity about the world. He was trained by his loving mother, Phoebe Winslow, in such a manner that he quickly outdistanced every other pupil in the Nantucket School. In 1834, he graduated from Harvard Medical School. He became a doctor, a lawyer, and an advanced student of astronomy and the nature of the universe. He spent time in many far-flung places, including the Hawaiian Islands, Tahiti, Chile, and California. He married Lydia Coffin Jones and became one of the island's most prominent physicians. After his wife's death in 1874, Dr. Winslow made his will, and it was unique. I request, order, and command that, if in the course of 8 and 40 hours it be positively proved that I am dead,
my heart shall be removed from my body by a competent anatomist, placed in a strong glass vessel having a ground glass stopper, and that this vessel be immediately filled for the purpose of embalming my heart with a saturated solution of muriate of ammonia. I order this vessel put in a thick oak box made just to size, and the box saturated with coal tar. This I wish enclosed in a plain pine case and buried in the south of Newtown burying ground on the island of Nantucket where I was born. My dear father lies by my mother's side, and a single stone records their final resting place. Thus may this sacred spot be known where I wish my heart to rest. I order that my body be burned and placed in the same grave at Mount Auburn in Boston, which contains the precious remains of my great, dear, and beloved wife. Signed, Dr. Charles F. Winslow.
His instructions were carried out, and there is evidence that he may have been the first person in the West to be cremated. His ashes are buried with Lydia on Mound Avenue at Mount Auburn in Boston under some very tall and old trees. There are 9 town-owned cemeteries on Nantucket, and they are just about completely full. You might be familiar with some of them, such as the Quaker Burial Ground, which has over 5,000 Quakers in it, stacked like dominoes, but only 56 tombstones. The Quakers did not believe in earthly bonds or frivolous ornamentation. I often wonder what they would think of Nantucket today. As children, we would go visit Dr. Winslow's grave and maybe leave a shell or some flowers. The grave marker, then flush with the ground, was easy to find. I had not been there in many years when last summer my friend James and I set out to find it one night. We had no luck. Intrigued, I went back the next afternoon, and after some more looking, was able to find the parents' tombstone, which had toppled over onto the ground. I was about to give up on finding the marker for Dr. Winslow's heart when I fell backwards into a hole, and there it was, completely grown over. I came back here, and look at this, look what I found. I found it. It's buried under the ground. Charles F. Winslow.
You don't think we're going to get arrested, do you?
It depends how long this takes. The reason we know that the story is true is that Edward Rowe Snow, a student of New England maritime history, researched and wrote about it. In the 1940s, he came to the island to verify the story. Most of the islanders he asked had never heard of Dr. Winslow's heart, but enough had that he was able to investigate further. He obtained permission to have the caretaker of the Newtown Cemetery use an iron prod to poke around the ground at the foot of the parents' grave, and, not too far down, he hit a hard object that was the size of a small box. They dug it up and opened it, and inside was a smaller box holding the glass vessel with Dr. Winslow's heart, exactly as he had so long ago instructed. In an autumn issue of the Enquirer and Mirror in 1947, there was a small article about the mystery that read, Dr. Winslow died on 1877, in Salt Lake City, and had sent his heart across the country to be buried at his native Nantucket. An anonymous Nantucket resident admitted that he buried the heart at midnight one autumn night in 1878. With that admission, the case has been marked closed. You know how when someone dies, we're told, but you'll always have the memories? Well, that's true, but only for a generation or two. After that, we have only the stories, and the stories must be told in order for them to stay alive and not to completely disappear.
Stars shining bright above you. Night breezes seem to whisper, I love you. Birds singing in the sycamore tree. Dream a little dream of me. Say nighty night and kiss me. Just hold hold me tight and tell me you miss me while I'm alone and blue as can be. Dream a little dream of me. Stars fading, but I linger on, dear, still craving your kiss. I'm longing to linger till dawn, dear, just saying this. Sweet dreams till sunbeams find you, sweet dreams that leave all worries behind you. But in your dreams, whatever they be, dream a little dream of me.
All right, I'm speaking with the Jan Drew Productions. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Yeah, and in other words, Janet Forrest and Andrew Camardi, who put together an amazing film that I wish I'd known something about beforehand, because it's about the dump.
Yes, it is.
Yes.
More specifically, the take it or leave it.
Oh, the take it or leave it. Well, I still call it the dump because it's so much fun. When you find something beautiful and someone says, I love your outfit, you can say it's from the dump, right? Tioli. It is really a remarkable place and certainly noteworthy.
Yes.
So tell me how this production came together.
Okay.
The initial thought was mine. I think it's just this like really wonderful microculture of Nantucket, and I just thought it could be a really fun mockumentary. And then when we thought of making a film together, Andrew said, well, there really has to be a conflict and a resolution. So what's that? So we went back to the drawing board and came up with a very, very loose script, and then we found some actors, and off we went.
Yeah, and so we contacted DPW and we asked if we could make this short film.
Right.
We sent them the script. They said, yes, please come here and film it. So we filmed it on a Tuesday and a Wednesday when they were closed. Usually they empty it out. Get this. They clean out Take It or Leave It every week.
Yeah,
every week it's cleaned out and then it fills up. So they said, when you film, do you want us to clean it or leave it? We said, can you leave it? So when you watch the film, the set is an authentic Take It or Leave It set.
Very nice. Excellent. And that is something to be noted, by the way, that think of that as that mountain grows. Some people call it Clute Mountain after Bud Clute, a man who used to work for the DPW. Other people say Ski Mount Clute or whatever. At any rate, it is sad to think that all that beautiful stuff, I mean, I shop there a lot, so I have a full house. Janet can attest to that. And so I can't take everything that I know is worth taking.
Yes.
And so it has become a popular place.
Yes.
And I'm glad about that because we don't want all that being put into the ground, right?
Right.
Okay, so tell me about these. You said we found some actors. You didn't just find some actors. You found some of the finest actors that Nantucket has to offer.
We sure did.
Yeah.
And they've worked together in the past, so their
Yes.
chemistry is very strong on
Yes.
screen.
Yes.
We can't take credit for the dialogue.
Okay.
We can't take credit for any of. There's 3 lines we take credit for that we wrote, and everything else was made up on set.
Yes.
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 So we shot it in 2 days from 9 to 12, both days.
Yeah.
So the first day was all plot.
Uh-huh.
And the second day was all testimonials, as you'll see in the film.
Right.
And by the end of it, we had too much footage. Too much amazing footage.
I bet.
So the first cut was 20 minutes, and it was all solid comedy gold. We had to cut it down to 10. So we may come out with the director's cut at the end.
Oh, good. I think that's a great idea. Because you're talking comedy gold. I mean, those are some of the best improvers I know.
Yes.
I've worked with these people on stage. It's kind of nice because when I forget a line, they fill it in. They say, didn't you say you were going to open the window? And I think, yes, that's what I was going to say. Anyway, they are tremendous. And I just adore the crew that you worked with. And I'm so thrilled that you were able to put this together. And to
Thank
bring
you.
to light the importance of Tioli.
Yes. I
The
can't believe
dump.
nobody's made a film about this before.
The Nantucket Mall.
Nantucket Mall.
What other names? I think there's some other pretty crazy names, but anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love that place, and I'm really pleased that you put together what I'm going to call as a documentary, but it is a mockumentary, and I'm pleased that you used those fine actors. So thank you. Good luck today.
Okay.
I know you'll do well. It is a wonderful film. I'm one of the select few that actually got to see it in advance. Did it take a while to put together?
It took about hours, I'm not sure, but Janet and I met about 4 times, and each of those times about a couple hours, and then we finessed it, tweaked it. So yeah, it took some time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's great. Well, it's good that you guys had some time to meet up, and it's also good that you happen to have such great knowledge in the area of film and editing production, and also that Janet has wonderful theatrical
and storytelling ability, which is what it's all about.
Not to mention organizational ability. So she's
Amen.
the best. Amen? Is that what you said?
Yeah, she does. She's very organized.
Yes.
Yes.
Well, I'm thrilled for you guys. Thank you for putting it together, and I look forward to seeing it again on the big screen.
Thank you, Susan.
Yeah.
Thanks,
all right.
Susan.
See you in there.
See you in there. Bye.
All right.
I'm the attendant that keeps an eye on the take it or leave it, the drop off for people bringing things that aren't ready for the dump, but that somebody might want to find a new life or a new home for. I open it, I close it, I kind of keep an eye on things, answer questions if people have any, tell them about what they can and can't leave.
I need a little table. Does anybody see a little table? Little, like a stool.
Well, the weekends are our busiest time. We open at 8 o'clock in the morning, which is when the regulars, the locals who really know that there's good stuff on the weekends show up.
I have been coming here every day for years, and there are always a few others who come every day too.
Let's say that the people I see here every day are normally not the people that I would find in my social circle on the island.
Does anybody want some bike tires, wheels?
Are they any good?
They're good. They're good, yeah.
You're kidding, of course.
I can't wait to get in and see those finds that weren't there the day before.
We try to keep things fairly organized. That's one of the things that I'll do before I open up in the morning.
She's sorting out the tables. People are putting the wrong stuff on the wrong tables. They got AV equipment on 2 tables. They're supposed to have AV equipment on 1 table and glass on the other.
You know what?
Is that the way it works?
It's all right.
Do the printers count
I think
as
it'll be
AV?
okay.
They're so eager to get in, and they're so happy to see me when I arrive and open that chain. So I welcome them all.
Oh, here we go.
Thank you for being here.
It's about time.
Good morning.
I look for anything that's complete. I want a set. I don't want to get half of something. A lot of people drop off half a game or a puzzle with pieces missing. That does me no good. So I try to find things that are complete, 2 of the same glasses. If I find 2 VCRs that are the same, I'm going to take it. That's a set.
I'm an artist, so I look for inspiration in terms of anything that I could use as a prop, anything that I might be able to use in a collage.
I have things. I just like the thrill of maybe uncovering some little nugget or treasure. Why not?
Today I would be finding some things that my clients would be willing to pay some good money for. Could be little house parts, could be auto parts.
Isn't that cute? Doesn't that remind you of like a...
What are you doing?
It's nice to see people, but they're kind of a pain in the ass too.
It's getting real over here. No, I don't like it.
You don't like it? It reminds me of my grandmother's. We were all in shock.
Just put a sign out that said that they're going to start selling this stuff. That is just completely.
I can understand them wanting to make a buck to try to pay for this thing, but that's breaking tradition right there.
This is supposed to be of the people, by the people, and for the people over here, right? It's all free, free, free.
I'm sure there's an explanation.
This is absolutely unacceptable behavior. I mean, they obviously came to this decision without any input from the community.
How are they going to charge for half of a salad server.
Take it or leave it has been in for how long? 20, 25 years, 30 years, 40 years? From the old dump.
We will just ask.
You could
because
ask.
that's the best thing to do.
It's just another dig to the community. That's how I see it.
If we just ask, we can negotiate.
No. We have got to come up with some kind of plan to counterattack. I think the artist is kind of bossy.
Wait a minute. Aren't we missing someone?
What the?
Hey, it's okay. It's okay. Come on. It's okay.
Did you see this?
Here we go. We saw it.
Did you see? When I saw that sign, I thought, what the hell? It's like the take it or leave it, not the take it and shove it up your...
You know, it can be a little scary sometimes, and I'm always saying, go over there.
He goes by loose cannon because there's nothing that makes him happy.
He's possibly dangerous, I think.
He's maybe started 16 fistfights.
I keep my distance.
When you see him in town, just don't call him loose cannon.
We are going to take it upon ourselves. We're going to put together a plan.
She said we should talk to someone first.
No, forget it. I am totally beside myself about this, and it has to be stopped, or it has to be countered in some way.
Why does she care if there's a take it or leave it or not? I mean, she can go to the yacht club or something where she's got nothing to do. She can make a basket.
I have spearheaded this plan to counter this ridiculous policy.
That's when we decided to come up with a plan.
Martha, thank you. Thank you, you're a doll. All right. We have a piece of property.
Well, she's got a little bindi, if you know what I'm talking about, so she's gonna put aside a little land, and then we start our own enterprise.
I would love to build it myself because, you know, that's what I do. All we need really is a nice slab, maybe like a carport roof.
I would be responsible for a beautiful garden. A beautiful garden outside would make it equally attractive.
I'm gonna provide the goats because I'm a goat farmer. We need security, we need hours, we need protocol, and we need protection. And that's what the goats are for.
Just before Labor Day, I'm coming here. I'm gonna grab everything I can.
Everything.
Everything that's good. If there's not a pear, I'm not taking it.
Not at all. Right.
They don't know it, but I'm kind of the smartest one in the whole group. Can I name a goat?
Somehow, in a strange way, we have assembled this group of people who all have different talents.
I just say, are we in? Are we in?
Yes!
We are in.
On 3. 1, 2, 3. Go! See, stuff.
Okay.
Go.
Yes.
All right.
Okay,
Let's go.
okay,
Come on.
go. All right, my friends, that's it for today. We'll see you later.
See you later, sweetheart.
You'll see us later.
This changes everything. I think it's going to be fantastic.
Let's go. We got lots to talk about.
All kinds of things.
I know.
Setting up a bigger and better.
I can't believe no one took this sandwich board. It's in such perfect shape. I think I'm gonna take it. Wait.
Crying out loud.
Well, never mind. I guess everything's just the same as it was at the beginning of the day. It's just no better, no worse.
I guess you could say the dream has died.
We're all smart, so I'm gonna keep coming here.
You know, I initially had said we should have asked.
The goats are ready to go, and they take the sign away, and all of a sudden our plan comes crumbling down because this dump is gonna stay the dump.
Arthur. Yeah, it's me. Forget it. Yeah, drop the sale. It's over. Yeah, right.
Well, the garden was a stupid idea anyway.
No. It was a great idea.
It was a beautiful idea.
It was vengeance.
It
Rufus.
was.
That would have been my name, Rufus.
Rufus?
Yeah, maybe
For the goat.
Yeah, Rufus.
Yeah.
I still think this place is a
Cute.
bunch of bastards.
Looking back on the whole experience, I have to say that I kind of made a new circle of friends. And let's face it, I would never come in contact with these people if it weren't for this crazy thing that we do together. A round of lattes on everyone. Okay?
Oh, that's so lovely of you.
Let's go.
Yay. Okay. Come on, let's go.
You'll find out.
I'm parked over here.
I'm over there.
It's a pretty jovial place. Sometimes people fight over things, you know. Sometimes people are swooping in before people have a chance to unload.
Once you cross the chain, you throw your friend hat out the window because it's all fair game. But otherwise, once on this side of the chain, we're all good friends. It's different when you enter the chain.
Are you okay? Are you okay? People!
Here she is! There she is!
So look, these are our filmmakers. Yeah. Okay, so, and you heard what we said before, which is that 7 out of 12 of these have never made a film before. I mean, wow, right? Wow. Okay, so I'm gonna start at this end. And I'm just going to kind of ask everybody to introduce themselves, and then we're going to skip around and we're going to talk about each of the films while the votes are being counted, okay? So, Rick, oh yeah, Melanie, come on up. So will you introduce yourselves, please, and just say that just your name and the title of the film?
Rick and Melanie Kodalak, Pacific Perseverance.
Pacific Perseverance, right? Okay, cool, right? Awesome. Want to hand that over? That's Doug.
Hi, Doug Cody, Finding Paul.
Finding Paul. Like Finding Nemo. Go ahead, bro.
I'm Bali Bach, and it was Secret Gardens.
Bali, nice job, brother. Beautiful.
My name is Derek Boyd, and The Rebirth.
Derek, yeah, great job. Awesome. Sammy?
Sam Owen Lochtfeld and Robert McKee, Living Artist.
Living Artist.
Jamie Paff and
Paula McLeod.
A Nantucket Wedding.
Bonnie Roseman and Days of Our Lives.
Mary Casey, The Hospital Thrift Shop.
Andrew Cromartie and
Janet Forrest.
And we did Tioli Revolt, We're Not Going to Take It or Leave It.
Hi, I'm Penny Dye, and I made Dr. Winslow's heart.
I'm Jan Campbell, and I was part of Told You Would, and this is John Best.
I'm a stand-in. She's the director.
Sorry, will you say that again?
John Best.
And John Best, I'm sorry, did you help make the film as well?
Dom,
You're a team.
The first person listed is Dom, and he is unable to attend.
Okay.
Jan is the director of Told You Would, and he did most of it. He's a fabulous filmmaker.
Okay, well, so are you. Yeah, that's an amazing film. And this is not the filmmaker, but this is the proud filmmaker's mother. Can we say who you are?
My name is Lori Richards, and I'm the mother to Mookie Richards.
And tell them which film.
Charlie and Chappie.
Charlie and Chappie. Okay, so I'm just gonna skip around. You know, I made a bunch of notes. I stood in the back and I had my light on. I hope I didn't bother anybody. But look, these films are technically and kind of spiritually and thematically so diverse. And I think it's kind of impossible to say, like, what's the best film? There isn't. There's only the most popular film, okay? So, because they're all really, really interesting. So I don't know what to say, except I'm going to start at the beginning with The Secret Garden. So you Can I just ask you a couple of, first of all, what inspired you to do this film? Did you work in this garden? Did you hang out there? Did you know somebody who knew the garden?
Yeah, I'm friends with a lot of people at Cisco Brewers, but I personally have an interest in local farming and agriculture, and I just thought it was a great opportunity to highlight something that's not well known about on the island, and just continue to help people connect their food with where it comes from and think about that, just start a conversation.
Yeah. Beautifully done. Now, let me just say the drone work, that is the overshots, and just showing the garden and swooping down, right, the rows, and those shots were amazing. How did you do that?
I'm a licensed drone pilot, so I do that for occasional side jobs, and then I just enjoy taking my camera out and trying to get better at that, and we'll see where that goes.
Well, let me just say you did a great job, absolutely beautiful job. And if anybody's thinking about making a film and you need a drone operator, you now know who to talk to. I'm just saying, because that was really beautifully done. And I know that's not easy, and with wind conditions and everything else.
It can be tricky on this island, yes.
Right? So
I have already lost one, so well, I'm trying to keep the second one.
No, congratulations. It was beautiful. I mean, it's such a secret garden that I never heard of it. You know, nobody, for probably a lot of people didn't, so you brought it to life to us. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Well, hopefully, if you're down at Cisco, talk to them, see if you can get a tour. It's a great opportunity to take a look at a garden that no one knows about, really.
Yeah. Really beautiful. Thank you. Nantucket Wedding, I'm just going to kind of go in order here because they were the first to be seen, and let's discuss them first. Nantucket Wedding, here we are. So, Jamie, is it Pfaff? Paff. Sorry, with a P.
Yes, Paff.
Sorry, brother.
Yes.
I'm sorry.
No.
And you're Paula McLeod, like my wife's last name, but sorry, they're the Irish instead of the Scottish, but a little bit of both. Okay, awesome. So I can stand next to you then. Okay, so that was fantastic. What inspired you? Now, this is a very different thing. This is a comedy again, and you wrote this and shot this and cast this, and will you tell me what inspired you?
I'm going to let Jamie do that.
Well, we've been coming to the shorts, I think, since it started, and we've always been intrigued by it and wanted to do one. And Paula said, we should do something. And we had this idea, and then, of course, years went by and we didn't do anything. And she finally said, well, this summer we're going to shoot it. And so finally, on about August 25th, we kicked into gear and got it done. So it was great.
Do you want to talk about did you know Susan McGinnis and Alexander Kopko?
That was a really important part of what we did. The first thing we had to do after Jamie wrote this first draft of the script was figure out the casting. And we went to Nantucket the Musical for, the third time. And I said, oh, there's our mother of the bride. And, oh, there's our bride. And then they suggested Torian as the wedding planner. And they worked so well together. They had they had natural
chemistry.
And,
ensemble acting. It was terrific.
Yeah.
And I have to say, I'm proudly so that they're both, seasoned veterans of the theater workshop, and they're fantastic together. And Dorian was fantastic. He's the black guy who's the wedding planner, right? Really funny, really good. So, but this was scripted. You wrote this. Some of these are sort of maybe documentaries that are a little bit more improvisational, or whatever. So you wrote the script. How long did it take to write the script?
Well, 5 years of thinking about it, and then about a day to write it. Seriously, that's.
Was there any improv?
How I work.
Was there any, and talk about the camera work and the editing, the technical stuff?
Yeah, I did that, and I got a lot of help from Andrew down at the TV station.
Of course you did.
But yeah, I did all the editing and all the camera work, and
Yeah.
I'm not really, I'm a writer by background, not a visual person, so it was challenging, but it was fun.
Well, congratulations, you did a great job. Yeah, hopefully you'll do it again.
I hope
Thank
so.
you.
Thank you.
So, time of my life. Oh, I happen to be right next to Bonnie Roseman. So, Bonnie, tell me what inspired your story. I mean, was it a desire to share your story? Because who could ever know everything that you did? I mean, it's kind of amazing. So how long did it all take?
Well, I mean, I've been thinking about it for about a year because last year I did the Journey of the Magical Scarves, which was another part of my life. But I wanted to share the overall story of how I've gotten to where I got to. And also, I have found that my 25 years on island has really inspired me to continue my journey to do what I do. And I also realized that I seem to inspire a lot of young people. I gravitate towards young people, and young people gravitate towards me. And more and more, I feel that part of my purpose is to let people know that whatever their dreams are, no matter how difficult they might seem to be, that if you have a will, there's a way, and you can make it happen. And I feel that that's what I wanted to share in the film, that I started with a
Yeah,
dream
great.
and I
Connie.
made it happen.
You know, you mentioned some of the great women, from history who inspired you, and I'm assuming that you're going to inspire other people. But also, you mentioned this word, a passion for fashion. Your phrase in the film. That's what it takes, right? Like passion. But now you have a passion for storytelling and filmmaking. Hopefully, you'll make a third film with us.
I hope so. I really enjoyed the process, and I wouldn't do it without Dee White. She is, for me, the best. And I love you wherever you are.
So, Dee,
this is
you'll
my
come up later.
second year in a row with Dee. We just work really well together. I mean, that's true partnership. If I can find a man who can keep up with me the way Dee does, I'll be in good shape.
The sequel. You talked about your husband. We saw a picture of him. Then I saw you with an older guy later, and I thought, is that she was married to Burt Reynolds? I mean, all right, never mind.
Burt was a good client of mine.
I didn't know he wore women's clothing, but hey. So let's talk about finding Paul. Doug. Okay, brother. Okay, so, all right. So what inspired you?
What's up, John? John Shea.
What inspired you?
I want to talk about you.
No, come on.
It was a great story, but we got into making this thing. Halfway through, we realized that maybe we should pivot, and there certain Nantucket traditions should stay a tradition, and I didn't want to be the one that was going to carry that weight of exposing what it was and all that. So we had to actually change the whole direction of the film. So we kind of just did a hokey out.
You jumped in the ocean and you went swimming. It's like Finding Nemo, right? So,
but we decided that my co-producer Chris Holmes, who's out there, we decided that, well, why don't we just make it a lesson to people making films? Because sometimes you get in the middle of these things and you realize that there's actual legal issues.
Oh.
So we kind of had to throw up our arms and be like, let's just leave this alone and we'll just call it and what you saw. So basically there was a lot more to it. We just kind of had to do a pivot and change the narrative because the respect for Nantucket, we wanted to just leave well enough alone. That was the...
Let me ask you this. So sometimes, like in the opening scene, you're looking out the car window. Are you talking to a camera that you set up, or did you have a cameraman shoot with you?
I did. I had my co-producer, Chris Holmes, we were actually, if you want to know that, we were actually trying to get in touch with Paul, and we think that was his mom.
Even that first phone call.
That first phone call, we were thinking it was going to be him, and it turned out to be, we think, his mom, but because we kind of had to pivot and change directions of the film, we never got to find it.
Look, dude.
Pauls are out there. You guys can all... How many people know what a Paul is?
Well, we know now.
Okay, because a lot of people, I tell people, they're like, Nepal? I'm like, no, a Paul. Well, I digress.
No, you did a great job, and you got some cool laughs, and I don't know what to say. Keep going, brother, because this your second or third film?
This is my fourth.
Fourth film, yeah, awesome, right? All right, keep going, Doug.
Thanks.
All right, so right next to you are the Kodalaks. So I'm just gonna say, Melanie and Rick. I mean, I don't know what to say, brother and sister, but holy mackerel. I mean, that is an epic story. Okay, that story is a rescue story. That story is a love story. That story is an adventure story. That story crosses all genres. It's kind of a documentary, but it's, wow, it's so beautiful because you bring, I don't know, man. You tell me.
Just a day in the life.
How did this, how this came to be and how you and Dan worked together?
Well, this wasn't our first adventure, and I think we decided to bring some cameras along on this one. And
you and Dan?
Well, no, he came down when we started rebuilding the boat, and he filmed that. He actually came to California where we got the parts, and then he came and did some filming in the Caribbean that first year when we put it together in the boatyard, which was an ordeal. And we managed to pack a lot into 10 minutes, I think.
Well, I mean, really amazing, right? So was it improvisationally scripted, or did you have an idea? Did you have an idea about like how you were going to tell the story? Did you shoot it and figure it out in the edit? Sorry, did you figure it out in the editing room? Like how it was all going to come together at the end? Because there's so much footage. You're shooting all over the world. And you shoot you sail 7,000 miles, man. In a boat that you rebuilt and saved, it's an amazing story. So how did the writing and putting the pieces together? You tell me.
Well, Dan took really great footage for us early on, and then...
Is Dan here?
He's supposed to be. Dan, you here?
Dan LeMaitre?
Looking for Dan.
He's the cinematographer, cameraman, co-producer?
Yeah,
Go ahead.
he took some great footage, and he put together about 14,
Here, talk
14 minutes,
yeah.
and then we had to bring it down. But he didn't come with us through the Caribbean to the South Pacific. That's kind of where our story took off, in our own photos and our own GoPro and.
So you were shooting on your own?
Yeah,
Okay.
amateur photography.
Wow, cool. So how did that feel? Had you ever done that before?
I haven't done much film, but I was inspiring everybody else. The interesting part of a lot of the film was my kids, who did, say, the Pacific side of the Panama Canal to Galapagos. They've got their iPhones and their GoPros going, and they all have Instagram and Facebook, as well as Melanie. And so whenever we'd get anywhere with this Wi-Fi, they would post all this stuff on Instagram and Wi-Fi. So all their friends and pretty much everybody else knew more about the trip than I did, because I don't have Instagram, I don't have Facebook, and when I came home after the trip, I could tell who does, because I was like, oh my God.
Yeah.
They would tell me things about the trip I didn't even know.
It's one of the most beautiful stories about Nantucket that I've ever seen. So I really, congratulations. Really beautiful. Thank you.
Thank you.
Sam. So this is Sam Oman Lochtefeld, who made Robert McKee, Living Artist. So
Hi.
why don't you, and that's your mother, right? Sanchez,
Yeah,
who's
she's here in
giving
the
him the
audience.
haircut. She's the shy, co-star sitting over there. But why don't you tell us what inspired you and how this came to be?
So the inspiration for the film,
Yeah.
Obviously came from the relationship the two of them have had. They've been here together on Nantucket for 30 years now, artists, friends, and through that whole time, they've done so much together, and they've been through so much, and so many things have changed. And Robert, these past couple of years, has been less and less mobile. He's not been able to go out as much and come out into the world. And we wanted to create a portrait of their relationship, kind of an intimate, to show their relationship in a way that really portrayed that even though everything is changing, and even though the relationship has changed and he's not able to do what he used to, they still have this connection and this intimacy. And as my mom said in the movie, although everything changes, the hair still grows. So that's something that
There are a lot of great lines in that film. Robert is obviously a philosopher. How about Robert McKee? It's just so beautiful. But I love the line about the dead roses. I buy them, I let them die, and then I paint them. Sanchez, I think he looked a lot better before the haircut than after the haircut. I'm just saying, okay? So
it was actually one of the things we were worried about. It was like,
I think
what
you
if
wanted the film to go on and on and on, and you kept cutting the hair. Lucky you didn't shave his head, but anyway.
What if the haircut didn't turn out the way it was supposed to, and she made him look bad? Like, oof, what are we gonna do then? Are we gonna redo the haircut? Or?
Sam, is this your first film?
I haven't made. I've done some a little bit of video stuff in the past, but nothing really.
It was beautifully done, man. And the way you just have this kind of master shot camera and a second camera set up, and you're cutting back and forth between the two. How did you edit it? Did you have any help?
Yeah, D helped me with some color correction.
White. D White, where are you? You have to stand up and take a bow. That's D White. That's D White. All right. D. White is a stealth weapon who showed up on the island a couple years ago, and we know her a little bit about her backstory, but I have to say her footprints and fingerprints and soul is in a lot of these films, like there is with Andrew Cromartie, and so anyway, but thank you, Dee, and thank you, Sam.
Thank you, John.
All right, so Charlie and Chappie. Okay, so I know that your son, Mookie, I call him Merrick. That's his real name, but he could be David Merrick. He's something, right? So Mookie made this great film, Charlie and Chappie, and this is a comedy, and I know you starred in it, so you could talk about what it's like to work with him as well, but you want to talk about what inspired him to do this?
John?
Yes.
He's 18 and a boy.
Yeah.
So I get nothing.
Oh, okay. read you. I read you loud and clear. Were you even allowed on the set, or to see anything? Did he even say anything?
Well,
no.
the day that he did the restaurant, I said to him, "Do you need any extras or anything?" And he said, "Oh, yeah, Mom, I do." And I said, "Well, tell me what time, and I'll try and help." "Well, I need him right now." So it was not a lot of planning.
Okay, so he just. The film has, I don't know, it's short and sweet and funny with this beautiful surprise ending. Obviously he wrote it. And you want to talk about what that was like to work with him?
Oh, Mookie's amazing. He's a rock star. I basically wanted to help him tell a narrative, a beginning and a middle and an end. He wrote the screenplay. He asked Nicole and myself if we could act in it. We thought, yes, let's do it. And once we got to the editing, it was interesting because he was a little discouraged in that, he doesn't know if he's got the movie that he wants. But I was trying to teach him, he just roll with it. You got footage, and it's good footage. So he edited it and edited it and edited it. And it came out this way, and he's really proud of his work.
Don't tell me. I'm just going to guess that D. White had something to do with teaching him how to edit. And you?
It was me.
You. Okay, you.
But D and I are next room to each other. We're next to each other all the time, so she might as well.
Okay. But no, awesome. No, it was really, really funny and really, really great. And that last kind of Bonnie and Clyde slow-mo sort of exit from the bank. But as Dan pointed out to me as we were watching the film again back there, that last shot is all in one take. You'll get closer and closer and closer to the bank door, and then you hold on it, and you hear the noise inside, and the music is great, and the building, and
That's his
then
idea.
you guys run out like Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid. Right?
Yeah,
It's awesome, man. Yeah,
he said, where can we get lollipops? So he was trying to call the bank. He said, "Can we use your lollipops?" And the bank's like, "We don't have that many lollipop." They came in. I said, "Mookie, just buy it. I'll buy your lollipops." That was the hardest part of the whole. No, we ate them all.
They ate them all. Let me ask you, he's up in film school somewhere like in Maine on the coast, right?
Well, right now he's in Europe. He's going to walk the Camino in Spain, and then he starts film school in March.
Okay, mazel tov to him. This is a talented kid, Nantucket High School grad. Boom. Love it. Thank you. Okay, now we're going to come to something completely different. Couldn't be any more different. And that's the Hospital Thrift Shop documentary. Is that beautiful? Oh, my God. No, Mary, I mean, again, they're standing next to each other because they're a team, and you'll see that Andrew's fingerprints are all over these films as well.
And D. White.
Right.
And Frank.
And D. Okay. But Mary, beautiful. Absolutely beautiful.
Well, I have to give credit where credit's due.
Okay.
The idea for this film was conceived about a year ago at a board meeting. The board, we were meeting in October, and we were looking at our 90th year coming up, and it's a big deal. The thrift shop's probably one of the longest running businesses in Nantucket. This is our 90th year, and we really wanted to tell the story about not only the history of the shop, but also to celebrate our volunteers and donors and shoppers, because those of us who are there now are just part of a really long line of others who have come before us. So really, my name's on it, but there's so many other people involved. Andrew's crew and all the volunteers and the board. So I want to definitely give you all a shout out.
Yeah, those are the people who are up in front of the camera who we're interviewing, and they were also beautifully natural and honest and loving about the entire experience. You know, it made me want to volunteer, and definitely I want to be in that line on opening day next year. You know, but let's talk about the technical aspects of making the film, because it was beautifully scored, beautifully shot, beautifully edited. So is that you with your camera?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, yes. It did start, a year ago. So we had about 60 hours of footage, and it was me, and it was Dee, and it was Frank, and it was Burton, otherwise known as Spruce.
Shooting.
Shot it, and then I had so much editing. Yeah, I got to say that all the volunteers and the staff were so amazing that they let us in with open arms to film. There's a lot of people, when they see a camera, it's like, get out of my face. I do not want to be in front of this. And we did not get that from the volunteers. Customers were a different story. So once we finally got permission from a few of them, they really helped the story come to life, because without the people coming in to actually buy the things, it's only half of the story.
You understand how it works full circle. Let me ask
Right.
you this. How long did it take to edit finally? I mean, months?
It took about a month, and I didn't get that much sleep.
Yeah.
So it was a long time.
Look, it's a beautiful film and brilliantly done, really. And it just made me fall in love with the hospital thrift shop all over again.
I just wanted to add what's important is all of us want everyone to know that they're a part of that story. So our season starts on opening day. It's bookmarked by opening day, and then by the day we're going to give the check to the hospital. We provide a really important service to our community. And then as a result of that, we get to raise money for the hospital. But everybody in this room who's ever come in to donate, to shop, or if you're a volunteer, you're part of that success. So give me a call and volunteer.
Beautiful. Thank you, both of you, everybody. Thank you. So Tulgeywood, where are the filmmakers for Tulgeywood? Okay, there you are. Okay, what? All right, so that was the film about the camp on Nantucket that has been going on. Let's find out a little bit about it, because that is a well-kept secret too, right? I've heard of it, I've known it. That's the theater workshop, our theater. That's Bennett Hall, where they performed their play in the course of the film, and I saw them there this year, and I was just absolutely amazed. In fact, there's somebody in the group who is the daughter of a really good old friend of mine, and so I had real personal feelings about what.
Sarah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
No.
Grace? No. So when Peggy Conway, I've known since she was a little girl. Oh my gosh. And her mom used to be the, like the maitre d' at sorry, no, wait, I'm sorry. Oh my God, no, next to the old theater workshop, like in the, down at the end of Straight Wharf. They closed it now. Captain Toby's, thank you so much. Anyway, it was absolutely beautiful. So tell us how this thing was made.
So I asked Dom to come with us for just a day or two and give us a 3-minute movie.
Yeah.
Because we needed a 3-minute movie. Everyone's supposed to have a 3-minute movie. And he said, okay, I have a day or two, I could do that. And he ended up coming for the entire time from set up to close down. So that's why you got to see set up to close down.
How many weeks is that? 3 weeks?
It's 2 weeks.
2 weeks, okay, go ahead.
2 weeks. And we rent Joan and Jacques' house, the big house. Many people have had their affairs there, so you probably recognize the house a little bit. I mean, their weddings,
Weddings. I'll take your word for it, okay? Nice of you to rent it out by the hour, by the way. Thank you.
So they're very generous to us and make it possible for us to be there. I will just say that we don't know how long we can be there, because that house might sell at some point, and we very much feel we are in and of and part of Nantucket, and we are your retreat, so please help us stay here. So we've been coming here for 14 summers now, and as I said, Dom said he'll come and make a 3-minute movie, and he did about 120 hours of filming. And you guys have a 10-minute limit, so he had to keep cut. And we got what we got for the 10 minutes, and he's still working on the 3 minutes.
Was he also shooting as well as editing?
He did all the shooting and all the
Okay, so where is he? He's in Europe.
He's in Belgium. He's on set right now.
He's a director.
No, he's an actor.
Oh, he's an actor. Oh.
He's multi-talented.
Wow.
He's very multi-talented.
Okay, so am I right? Did you feel this? Like we were really seeing something special. And there was so much feeling there. And there's one shot where he's in the, behind the front seat, and the photo, shooting one of the young men, and he's saying, I had such a great time, and he pokes him in the nose a couple times, and he laughs, but he holds the camera there, and he holds the camera there, and he holds the camera there, and secrets are revealed, and the love in that group, and the support. I mean, it's really just breathtaking. It really brought tears to my eyes when I saw it. So I have to say, please give him our congratulations, and fantastic, really.
Well, and I have to say thank you to Nantucket, because we wouldn't be here if it wasn't for Nantucket. Nobody pays money to come, and we're here because of the generosity of people on Nantucket.
And no one gets paid to be there. It's volunteers entirely.
Great. Told you would. All right? Told you would. Unbelievably beautiful. Okay? It's like a love story too, but it's also a rescue story. It's like, your story, Rick. I mean, it's like multi-dimensional. I love it when the guy goes, and it's like a throwaway line. He's going down the sidewalk and he goes, it's like a second birthday, And yeah, it was, I don't know, it's beautiful.
And those cards they were handing out,
Yeah.
we have them. We can hand out cards to anyone who wants them.
Okay,
We're
good.
always looking for support.
Yeah, good, man. Good. All right, so wait, The Rebirth. Where's Derek Boyd? Derek. Okay, brother. Okay, so that's an extremely beautiful film. Is it, what's your actor's name, first of all?
Jeff Day, he's right there.
Jeffrey, will you come up here too, brother? I mean, come on.
He's really shy.
No, come on. Don't be shy. Okay, so this is like a two-man job. I know we haven't had much of the actors up here, but I mean, I have to say, you're sort of like the writer as well, because it's your words that were being used and that's subtitles and the way you shot this, man. The two of you together, just absolutely. So tell me, did you know each other from church or on the island, or what happened? What inspired you?
Well, this is my first time on Nantucket. I work at the NGC Golf Club, and
What's NGC? I'm sorry.
Nantucket Golf Club.
Oh, you work there. Okay.
Yeah, I work there. So I love attending church, and so I went down to attend the Summer Street Church, and I seen Jeff Day playing, and from there on we just kicked it off. And I was looking for a story to shoot. I'm also a comm major. Looking for a job, by the way, if anybody. I just graduated, but
wait, what major are you?
I'm in a communications major with a concentration of radio, media, and film. So,
all right, hire this guy.
Long story short, it was amazing. It was an amazing church service, and I seen a talented kid, and I wanted to tell his story.
Yeah.
And
how long did it take? When did this idea strike you?
Well, at first,
this summer?
And this summer.
Yeah, okay.
This summer,
and
August. In August. Beginning of August.
So not so long ago.
Not so long ago.
Wow.
Took me about, 2 weeks? 2 weeks to finish it, film it.
Beautiful.
Filmed it in a week and edit it, produce it.
What did you shoot it on, bro?
Sony 873.
Okay, you had
with
that camera.
55 prime lens.
So you just kept that 55 on everything? Okay, awesome.
And I had a stabilizer as well.
Yeah. So those shots where he's walking down and his hand is playing on the flowers at the end in the field, and that's beautiful.
Yeah.
I mean, I have to say, there's poetry throughout this whole thing. But listen, let me just say something. The reason I wanted you to come up, there's poetry in what you have to say, and there's poetry through the whole thing. Absolutely beautiful, because this is, again, a love story. This is a love of music. This is a rescue story, like a Pacific Perseverance, but it's music that saves you, right? So, but what you have to say at the end, how there is something within each of us that is there that God gives us, and that it'll come out. Man, I'm telling you, you should be a preacher at that church. I'm telling you. So fantastic. Anything else you want to say about the collaboration? What about the music? That was beautiful.
Well,
is that his score?
Some of the music was his. Some of it was offline, but the one at the end was all his music originally.
Yeah.
All him recorded, done at the end. So he's a real talented kid. So you guys want to definitely see him live.
There are some films that work linearly, or they start big and they sort of fade out, or they're cool. But you kept the surprise at the end. I love that we were waiting through the whole film to see you and hear you play, and then finally at the end we get a couple of bars and that's it, cut, right? But sweet,
surprise,
man, absolutely sweet. Thank you. All right, so we're gonna keep moving on. We're almost there. Let me go on to Dr. Winslow's Heart. Oh, there you are. Penny, oh my God. So Penny, thank you, man.
It was...
Okay, so that's an amazing story. So Penny, what inspired you, darling? Did you grow up in Quidnet and all that?
Yeah, we
that's
were
your story?
lucky enough to grow up in Quidnet, but I have, my youngest brother, Tom, is a real filmmaker.
Yeah.
And a couple of years ago, we made a bet. I bet him he couldn't knit a sweater. And he bet me I couldn't make a short film.
Oh, how sweet that revenge is.
And I can't wait to send it to him. He's not seen it yet.
Oh, yeah. He's probably still sitting there knitting,
He hasn't started.
He hasn't started. So wait, this is really beautiful. So tell me, I mean, first of all, yours is a historical biography. It's also a mystery story. It's a love story. It's so many things, like all these films, right?
Well, so the other thing that Tom said to me is, or has said along the way often, filmmaking is all about having a story, a good story. And I was lucky enough and can take no credit for having that good story. I discovered it and was able, with the help of the goddess of editing, who knows how to make grass grow, D. White.
D. White. Sorry, D. We're outing you.
So you can have the idea, and I'm actually an example of somebody with no formal experience in filmmaking and was lucky enough to get hooked up with the very talented folks at NCTV. And so you have a good idea, and I'm proof that anybody can do this.
No.
Yes,
but
it
it's
is
beautiful.
true.
But you started with a great story, and then you researched that story. How long was the process from getting the idea to finishing the film?
Well, the idea I've had for some years, but I ramped the idea up the end of last summer. And my film was actually done by June because I knew if we got into this summer, I wouldn't have any time to do it. And one of my favorite parts about it was actually doing the research, which was like a giant treasure hunt. And you didn't always get answers. Sometimes you got questions. For instance, why did he not send his heart to Boston to be with his beloved wife? Where was the heart for a year and a half after he died between Salt Lake City and Nantucket before it got buried? And these are questions we'll never know the answers to.
Look, it's beautiful, and I want to see it again. And I'll just say the way it ends with your line about the stories.
Stories. There are so many stories on this island, and I've now spent a lot of time in cemeteries. And I mean, everybody in here could do one of these a year, and we wouldn't tell all the stories.
Right?
It's just
But the thing about the way you use that last line, I wrote it down. Sorry.
that they're going to disappear.
They're going to disappear just the way the grave does at the end with that special effect that you did. And Dan, you're shooting, Dan Driscoll over there? I'm just saying, whatever that team that you had to shoot the film.
Yeah, I want to say that Dan shot the professional-looking parts of my movie.
Yeah, really beautiful. Thank you. Which brings us to the last film, and here we are. Do you mind if I squeeze in next to you? Okay, so what a sweet way to end the festival with this fantastic comedy, and surprised to find you up on the stage again with us talking, Andrew, because this time, and for everybody who doesn't know, this is Janet Forrest, who you might also see on stage at the Theater Workshop or at the Gaslight, because she's a singer in a band, which is an awesome band that's constantly changing its name, and the current name is... Go ahead.
Sip and Start.
Right. And I saw her the other night. She's a great singer. But let's talk about this film. Okay. So how did this come to be? Because this film feels like it starts out like it's going to be a documentary about the, take it or leave it. And it turns out to be this scripted comedy with a lot of great actors in it. So how did this come to be?
The initial idea was mine. I thought the Take It or Leave It is kind of this microcosm of Nantucket that's just really special. And so I thought it would be really fun to do a mockumentary about it. And Andrew and I were going to make a film. And he said, well, it has to have a story. It can't just be a bunch of people at the Take It or Leave It. So we went back to the drawing board and we thought, well, what could be the conflict? And I thought, well, what if there was a new policy that they were introducing that would just drive people bananas? And we thought of a few ideas, and then we came up with this idea of what if they started selling everything? So do you want to talk about the shooting?
We only had 2 days, and the DPW, Rob McNeil and Graham Durovich, thank you so much for letting us film at the Take It or Leave It. We didn't know this, but they clean out the Take It or Leave It every week. They clean it out, and it fills up like in a minute or something. So they said, do you want us to clean it out? We said, could you leave it? They said, yes. And we had a full set. So the first day was all plot. And then right when we finished the first day, it rained. We thought, uh-oh. So we went back the second day and we did testimonials. And everybody, we cannot take credit for the dialogue. At all. The talent that we were able to get.
Okay.
Oh, my goodness.
You want to the cast stand up?
Please stand up.
So
Please stand
Cynthia
up.
and
Please
Bill and Pete and Christy and Casey, take a bow, take a bow. Really great. Really great.
Yeah.
I mean, really funny. Okay, so, but you were there to shoot it. Were you shooting one camera or two cameras?
Two cameras
at the time, and then you have to edit it, and
Yep.
I don't remember a lot of score in this. It's like seagulls and wind.
Seagulls and wind and backing up trucks.
Yeah.
One song from DeWolf and
Otter Control. Thank you, Chip Webster.
The other name for
Sip and
their
Starts.
great bands,
Yeah.
for Sip and Start. And check her out on stage sometime, and oh my God. So look, this was the 12. These are the 12 films, okay? So fantastic. And am I right to think that there might be a vote? Yes. So I'd like to bring to the stage the woman who is who's the artistic director, executive director of the NCMC, the Nantucket Community Film Center. Please welcome. Oh yes, but you're going to come up to and introduce her. Yes. This is Lisa Getter, and this.
Elena Grant.
Are you related in some way? Yeah, she's my goddaughter. She's your goddaughter. Yeah, yeah. So Beanie's actually going to read out the awards. So firstly,
Before I announce the winners, I want to say a huge thank you to our fabulous host, John Shea. So our 2019 Nantucket Shorts Festival Best New Filmmaker is Penny Dye. Our 2019 Nantucket Shorts Festival Audience Award, Best Short Film, goes to Janet Forrest and Andrew Crominati.
thank you. Well done. Can we just take that from you? Well done. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Okay, so but you can't leave the stage so quickly. Let me just say something. So it is Lisa who and her team that you've met here tonight, from Andrew and Dee and Maria and Charlie, the camera. This is the team that you want to go to. This is the team that you want to support. This is a nonprofit on Nantucket that's really important because they're helping make these stories for 7 years now. And tonight is not the last time that you have a chance to see these. Will you tell them just a little bit about the website?
Yep, this is going to be, the whole event tonight's going to be on the website and on Channel 18 by next weekend. It's also going to be in the Shorts Fest website and Nantucket Community Television's website. But I don't know if did you mention at all tonight about the Island Cup event that we're doing?
No.
No, okay. So part of Nantucket Community Television's original programming, we're just starting to do that. And our first original program is going to be the Island Cup, which is the rivalry, as everybody knows, between the Whalers and the Martha's Vineyard. We have an event on November 23rd at the fairgrounds. We're going to be raising funds to help finish producing that documentary and miniseries. And then May 23rd, 2020, we will be bringing back Lunar Festival, which is very exciting. Yeah, we haven't had Lunar Fest for 2 years. We've really missed it. So Nantucket Community Television are going to be hosting that event, and we're bringing it back. So I wanted everybody to know.
Lunar Fest are 10 films by 10 women shot around the world. They're also short films. They're amazing. So please do come to that. Look, if you have a story to tell, and I know you do, just go see Lisa, knock on the door, and be involved, and do what these great filmmakers did, which is tell your story. Thank you all so much for coming.
Thank you.
Congratulations to everybody.
Good job, Petey.
Really great, Rick. So beautiful, man. So great.
Hold on, I'm going to see you.
Congrats, darling. All right, Doug. See you, pal. Congratulations, brother. Oh, man, it was great.